insiders. This will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first, America first, non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non-fatal. Communication very much higher. America first. To lead by an any insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. More of insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. America first. Love the flow. 69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must.
Well, hello. Hello, everyone. I tried to go deep for that one, but there's certain things you don't want to go too deep for. Otherwise, people are like, oh my, oh. Sort of like
deep.
It's sort of like the when Cartman tries to do the brown note on South Park. That's when you.
Yes, absolutely.
That was a fun name. Anyway, welcome everyone to another Darachat. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short. Hey, because you know what? Some people have first grade issues. It's called Daramouthe, not Daramouthe. Obviously, the silent E is missed by many, so have to be careful with that. But yes, and of course, I'm joined by. Well, it almost seems like with your name, you kind of made yourself like a Autobot. But what's with the what? How'd you come up with that?
Republic Sentinel. I was going for back during the pandemic when I first started thinking about doing content. I wanted to go for something that was, I'm a news kind of guy, so I wanted to go with something that sounded like a newspaper or a magazine. So you know what I mean? So a Republic Sentinel, it's a guard for the Republic kind of thing. So
yeah,
very patriotic. Try to be patriotic.
You know what it does remind me of? It reminds me of Liberty Prime from the Fallout series.
Oh,
yeah. I have come to kill the communist Chinese, or whatever the sayings would be.
Yes.
There's only a few times where it's like the robot is shown, but it's like, I think you should be very careful about that robot. There, he will take your lives. But no, that's pretty neat. I just thought of like, what's the one Autobot? Something Sentinel. Sentinel Prime. That's right, Sentinel Prime.
Sentinel Prime. Absolutely.
From the Autobots. Yeah. Hey, or because it's just that Sentinel part that just it's just that Sentinel part that got me. It's like, man, oh my goodness.
Well, and I'm a huge Transformers fan, and so is my son. So yeah, absolutely. I love that idea. That sounds great. I'll tell him that you said that. He'll be like, yeah, that'd be cool.
Transformers more than meets the eye. Big robot in a disguise.
Yes, I love it.
Why is that robot hiding behind the American flag? I am for the Patriots against the red Chinese.
Absolutely. After those commies. Let's go get them commies.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I love that intro video too, by the way. That never gets old. That is it's fantastic.
Yes. Trumpular. Yes, that was made by the artist Pogo, and he of course he's not made much anymore because he's there was some social media controversy thing that kind of hit him, and he was like, yeah, and so he kind of disappeared. Well, the funny thing is that he actually was on Crowder's show a long time ago. I think it was about 8 years. Gosh, I have the internet. Let's check. Give me one.
I like that. Yeah. You can look it up.
Yeah, because I figure it's yep, there we go. I got it. I want it. There we go. Yeah, it was about 8 years ago. Here, I'll show you. Because I've got the video up.
I must not have been watching Crowder at the time. 8 years ago,
Yes.
yeah, maybe
That would be that right there in the center is Pogo or Nick Burtke. And that was like 8 years ago. That was 2017.
what
So
happened?
I don't I can't remember what exactly happened, but part of it may have been just being on Crowder's show. Part of it, and I'm talking about politics, and the other part
Mm,
of it too is that I believe he said something that was he said something that would be, I think, something about homosexual or something like that, and the internet got wind of it, and it just kind of backfired on him. So he just kind of slowly slipped away from the social media aspect, which was kind of sad because I mean, you can
it
there's a link down below to his channel where that video that you saw and a whole bunch of other ones like Disney. There's one with Muppets and all sorts of ones
yeah,
on there, and he's really just a master of his thing. But because of how the internet works, they just wanted to berate him for saying something he was free to
destroy
say.
him. That's a
Yes.
shame, man. What is wrong? I've never understood. If you don't like it, don't watch. Just it's like with Alex Jones and Infowars. Why do you got to cancel him? Just don't listen to him.
Yeah, you would think that, but this is the internet here. The internet is in some degree a um what's the word? The internet to some degree is a wild west with rules. And the
Yeah,
the sad part about it is that at the end of the day, a big chunk of people don't care
yeah,
about you being doxxed. They don't care about your name being put out there. They don't care about any of this stuff. They just care about revenge is basically what it is. Revenge because or because you were wrong from their perspective or otherwise. And this is not just to any. This is not just stuck to one site. This is all of them, every one of them. There is no site that's other than if you like go like to maybe like a religious site, but even then you're gonna have issues here or there. The problem of it
well,
is
to
though,
be
it's
honest, have you ever had any problems? Have you had
in what
somebody come
ways?
after you? Have you had the internet come
I
after you
mean,
at
there's
all?
there's probably been like one or two people like in a chat from a while ago, but it's really nothing. I've never had anyone come after me in the sense of like revenge, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word or just some anger because I don't I I find the older you get, right? I find the older
Mhm.
you get, the less you care. Now there's some things to care about, sure. I'm not saying that everything, right? The less you
You are
care.
correct. You are correct, sir. Yes.
Well, I mean, let's just put it this way. What's the what's the biggest thing, right? We can sit here all day long. We can argue about our thoughts and ideas and all stuff. What's really the big thing that's going to matter at the end of the day? Because you and I have a limited time, right?
Absolutely.
Death is the great equalizer, and a lot of people kind of get stuck in this tread of arguing about the same thing or going over the same thing, whatever. And sometimes repetition is okay, obviously, because you want things to get out there, you want things to get seen, all that stuff, just depending on the context. But after a
Sure.
time, staying too long on one thing really doesn't help in moving forward your progress as much as it does in something you wish to go to or help with or whatever, right?
Sure.
Act of random kindness, or many other things in life. It's just it becomes a very stale, what's a good word? It
Hmm?
becomes a very stale competition of dick measuring. And it goes for both.
Yes.
Goes for both sides of the
It
equation, male
does.
and female, because there's to some degree where we want to be right, and sometimes we are, but we back it up with facts and data and all this stuff. But I want to ask a question that I
Sure.
wonder if people can answer to the best ability. How much of history do you believe is true?
Well, that's a good question, right? Because I mean, we keep finding out, especially when it comes to archaeology, right? Some of the
Mm,
coolest things that I've seen in recent years has been like Randall Carlson
mm.
and um what's his name? You
Graham,
know,
Graham,
yeah, Graham
Graham.
Hancock.
Grant,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. I was about to say Graham Norton, but that's English. That's wrong. I mean, he's
No,
English, but he's wrong sort of thing.
but it speaks right to your point. How much of history now, because we keep seeing what they're revealing, how much of history is jaded or written from a different perspective? What is it that they say that the victor writes the history books?
No, I think it was. I think the saying goes, when the uh, victors write the to the victors write the history or something like that. I can't remember.
Yep.
It's an easier one, but
Yep.
the point of the matter is when you have people who are well, even losers can write too, but it's very dependent of to what end, because it's all over the place. But at the end of the day, though, like I mean, how much history did get written during the Roman times or
Oh,
times before
yeah.
that? Like again, people who are dictators or whatever, when they get to a certain level, when people get to a certain level of power, they get to say what is true history and what isn't. But then again, that's not true history. But how can we tell, right?
Oh, right. You have to really deep dive, and then you have to start, because you start finding some lies, you start questioning all of it. And then when can you actually come to a real conclusion? Because you don't know, okay, so wait, this guy says this and has some evidence to back it up, but but this guy's got evidence too, and
Hmm.
it almost contradicts. So somewhere in the middle, I guess, is the truth. But like you said, how do you really know what's true? It's a tough place to be, but I still think that you can't let it overpower you too much, because we do have to try and find the truth, right? I think that's important.
Right, but then you're asking yourself, okay, what truth am I finding? Because we also
Mhm.
have to deal with confirmation bias, right? If people don't know what
Oh,
confirmation bias
yes.
is you look up information that falls in line with the thing you want to look up. So you could say election stuff or whatever,
Mhm.
or maybe just the about the ice cream truck that passes you away. There's tons of data out there. So much data out there the human mind cannot comprehend, and that's why you have things like cognitive dissonance, confirmation bias, and all this other stuff. Our brains are not capable of handling only so much amount of data, and then you have stuff like, what is it like? I think like the click or the tick and tock of a clock is like a false memory or something like that because it's already passed or whatever. And then there's
Mm.
like studies of when you walk
That's
into
interesting.
yeah, or walking
Mm.
into a different room. I can't remember who it was, but there was a study about if you walk into a different room that's creating like a new compartment of memory or something like that or whatever. But you're really oh, you know what? Of course, I've got the internet. All right, hold on.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Like, just look it up. I'm always
uh
telling my son that. Just look it up. What are you doing?
that's always good to discuss too, but it's like walking through uh a doorway. Um I think it's like psychology. What was it? Here we go.
Hmm.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got it. I got it. Hey, Cool Frog, how are you? I can't pull it up because Rumble Studio's not reacting very well for chat. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Uh, oh, I gotta, hold on. I think you can see it, right? Yep, there we go. So, walking through doorway psychology. Walking through the doorway can cause forgetting due to a phenomenon known as the doorway effect or location updating effect. This effect suggests that when you move from one room to another, your brain segments memories into distinct episodes, making it harder to recall information from the previous episode. Research
Hmm.
indicates that merely imagining walking through a doorway can also impair memory, highlighting the cognitive impact of such transitions. This effect is thought to be related to the brain's need to update its mental representation of the environment when entering a new space, which requires cognitive effort and can lead to errors. However,
Hmm.
studies have shown mixed results regarding the consistency of the doorway effect. Some experiments found that the effect was significant when participants were distracted or when the environment was highly immersive, while others found no significant impact in different conditions. This suggests that the doorway effect might be more pronounced when other cognitive tasks are being performed simultaneously. In summary, walking through a doorway can disrupt short term memory, but the extent of this effect may vary depending on the context and cognitive load. So the
Wow.
doorway effect or location updating effect. So yeah, you have stuff like that where you just walk through. You're going to you're going to get your wallet in another room, and then something kind of distracts you on the way, and you completely forget what you were going for. You may recall it back, sure, you may recall back, okay, what was I trying to do, and then you may recall it back, but more than not, that sort of thing is what it is. And that was, I can't remember, there was some college who kind of did that research, but again, there's stuff like that where our brains can only handle so much. So when we
Mm.
talk about looking for the truth, okay, so I want you to describe to me what in your perspective, right? Because we're going based upon perspectives. Hey, Kismet, what's cooking? Nothing right now. I'm not. I've already ate earlier, so no. I
I
can't.
did too right before I came on with you. You were saying, "Hey, let's get together and do levels." I'm cramming down a burrito. I'm going. I'll be
Yeah,
right there.
don't worry about it. Just I'll be right back.
Okay. What's up, Kismet, Liz,
Um,
Yankee, Cool Frog?
wanted to see if that will change. Yep, nope. I don't think Rumble Studio Chat is gonna work for the Rumble side tonight, unfortunately. Um,
No, I popped out the chat over here so that
I
I could see it.
well, the fun thing is that I use Brave.
Me
The
too.
Well, there's also a new thing too, is where you right click on a tab and you can
Mhm.
split view a screen, so you can have two tabs within one screen. Yeah, hold on, I'll show you. Hold on.
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, here you go. Hold on.
I'm
Uh,
brave.
yep, there you go. See? Right? This is
Oh,
my Rumble side right here, Rumble stream, and this is
gotcha.
Rumble Studio. So you can basically go up here and click New Split View. Oh, you can't see it. Never mind. But you right click on a tab, and then you
Mhm.
see New Split View, and then that will make your two. But again, this is Brave. They added this like a few weeks ago, so I've been really enjoy using it.
I'll mess with it. Thanks for telling me. I had no. I exclusively use Brave just because of how good they are with the tracking and the
Mm.
ad blocks and that stuff. I'm a huge fan of Brave.
Oh yeah, I've been using Brave for quite some time, but I also use other programs like Proton and stuff as well, because that's email, VPN, all that stuff. If you've never heard
Mm.
Proton, it's worth at least researching into. Um, but yeah, it's sort of, so yeah. Going back to the question, so from your perspective, and this is
Mhm.
just from your end, what is truth?
Oof. I want truth to not be subjective. As
It's
somebody
hard.
who looks for the truth, I don't want it to be subjective.
Mm,
But unfortunately, I I think it ends up being subjective in a lot of scenarios. It's like it kind of goes back to what we were talking about just a little bit earlier about how well it is. It's the truth can be this. There can almost be like two different sides of the truth,
yeah.
and somewhere in the middle is where the actual truth is. But it's a good question. I think you're right. I think the truth can be subjective.
Well, yeah, because when so like we'll do the basic one, right? A car accident, right? So
Yeah.
you're a person. At least my YouTube side will work. There's that. But you're a person who sees a car crash. All right, you see you from your perspective, right? The person A was crashed into by person B.
Mhm.
However, you have another person across the way who saw it from a different angle and says person B or person A crashed into person B. Who's telling the truth?
And in some ways, there's a bit of truth in both, right? But because it depends on what perspective. That's brilliant. That is true. That
It
is
well,
very.
it becomes um it becomes that's the subjective part, right? I believe I can go to that's a belief thing, Kismet. That's not an actuality. You know for a fact you can't go to Japan on $50, but
That's a good
that's
point.
yeah. When you
That's
say I
correct.
believe I can go, I believe we don't need engines to work, but that's a belief thing. That's not an actuality. Belief belief and reality are two very different things, but then again you could believe in the simulation theory, and then what is reality at that point? But yeah, I mean that's just where that subjectiveness comes from, because there are some immutable truths. One is death, right? Death is an immutable truth. You cannot,
100%.
you can't escape it. You can't run from it. You could prolong your life, sure, if you treat it well.
Mhm. Oh, no, it's not always subjective. There are definitely some
Yeah.
objective truths.
Yes.
It's just that, like Daramouthe is talking about, sometimes, and you can see this with all kinds of different events that take place.
Yeah.
It was the way people witnessed it. They have a different perspective on it, and suddenly now. When it comes to an accident, you can
Mhm.
get a better idea of what the truth actually is if, let's say, both cars had dash cams, right?
It's true.
And then you can get a better perspective, but that still is not completely objective,
Mhm.
because you can't tell if, did this person accelerate, did this person do this, and what, so there is, but so it's
It
it's a good point. It's a good point.
But yeah, but the more you think about it, right, the more confusing it gets you because now you're trying to define a black and white situation when you could say truth itself is gray. Because then what does it become? If it were easy to define, you would be able to say it within one sentence or two sentences, or we'll go with a paragraph. You would be able to say it in a paragraph and be done with it. But
Mm,
because you can't, or because
yeah.
it's hard to, truth itself is not an easy thing to define. Um,
No, it really isn't. And again, when you have to rely on other people to record that truth
mhm,
and then tell you that truth, you can't.
yeah,
You
it's
you 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 can't, rely on the information entirely.
yeah. It again, it's a nice thought experiment, and usually at the end of the day, people go back to what they're doing and they completely forget about it. But at the
Yeah.
end of the,
Yeah,
but it,
true.
you're just walking into another room. Um, but the point of the matter is, it's not me trying to. I'm not here attacking anyone saying you're wrong. I am simply asking, okay, so what about this and what about that? Because again, we come through different phases, different points. We've had all the philosophers, uh,
Mm,
you know, Socrates to Plato to all these sort of things, and where we taking their things, or we can go to William Shakespeare and the psychology of all this stuff. We go through all this stuff. The funniest thing is that we have a type of science called psychology where it's just the brain chasing the brain.
sure.
How funny is that we have something that's chasing itself, if you
And
think
that's
about it.
why a lot of people have called it the new religion, right? And just to be completely honest, I have a psychologist in the family that
Oh,
has a master's degree. Um, and I'm not going to go too deep into that
yeah, yeah.
because, like, I tend to say things that could get other people in trouble.
Ah,
But
you're fine.
this person has openly spoken to me about how you got to be a little careful because, again, everybody's brain's different,
Mhm,
and a lot of the science isn't totally science. Then they have to, because you get to a roadblock and then you
mhm,
almost have to go on belief.
mhm.
So that's where it does kind of, it's almost like a new religion.
Yeah, in that regard, it's always funny because um, I once had a thought, and I still do, but I once had a thought. I was like, okay, money, money is only as real as we make it. You can physically hold it in your hand. You can physically hold gold or whatever in your hand, or a dollar bill or whatever. But the point of
Mhm.
the matter is, though, all fiat, or actually, you know what? Not even fiat. All things of value are maybe not all things, but a majority of things in life's value, or value in life, are based upon belief. You
For
believe that
sure.
item has value, right? So an example I did that I had a thought on a while back was about sentimental value. Now, sentimental value and value are two very different things
Mhm.
because it's one that's more personal, close to you. But let me put it this way: so you have a guitar,
Mhm.
right? You have a guitar that was passed to your dad or grandfather or whatever. It was passed to you by some family member who was important. Now,
Yes.
when you die, do those memories go with the guitar? Will the next
Well,
person you give it to remember that, or will those same memories be important to the next person, or will it just be they got that guitar from you, and that's it?
probably more the latter. We have a banjo that was handed down from my great grandfather to my father,
Mm,
and now he's talking about handing it down to me. And you're right, the memory that was created making that music,
mm.
I don't have any of that, none.
Yeah. The
So that's
there's-
that's interesting, but it
yeah,
is still valuable in my opinion. It, of course, there it is. It's subjective, right?
yeah,
But it does still have value because that sentiment that's there. That's my great grandfather's. He played this out,
right.
so there is somewhat of a value.
Yeah.
But
There's
again, you're right. It's subjective.
well, no, it's stuck too. So think of it this way, right? You just said your grandfather do. If you were to give it to a friend, would that friend know who your grandfather was?
No,
Would they care? So then all those memories that you have of your grandfather, they're gone because that instrument cannot carry those memories. It's inanimate. It's
that's
it's an it's
absolutely correct.
it's an
Yes.
object. And Kismet says, "Do we take into account that other people believe it has value, or do you only matter?" Well, that depends. If 70, well, let me put it this way: if 75% of people, well, maybe global, um, if enough people in the world believe that the USD no longer had value, it will,
Hmm.
because that's just what it is. Belief can kind of, but that's from that thought alone, it derived me that belief is the currency, not the fiat, not the
That is
silver, not
true.
the gold. It's the belief, which is kind of an ironic thing. Is if we can dwindle something like that down to the thought of, then belief is all you really need to some degree, but that doesn't really work out that way. I'm just saying on the thought process of, or the logic of it in that thought chain, belief becomes the actual currency rather than the dollar bill or the yen or the
Well, you
dinero.
do have to throw in on top of that when it comes to like the world currency.
Mm,
I saw this a lot of videos coming out of China because of
mm,
the tariffs that have come up,
mm,
right? And this guy made this he went off on this dialogue where he was saying that one out of every $3 spent in the
mm,
world comes from uh, an American wallet.
huh,
So no matter how you break things down, you want to sell stuff,
mm,
30% of it is going to come from America.
hmm,
Where are you going to sell from? When you're talking about how many hundreds of nations, that's how much we consume and how much. So if we demand that we pay in dollar, you're
mm,
going to take the dollar because you want to sell your product.
yeah,
So, but I understand completely where you're coming from. It is belief,
mm,
but there is also that aspect of where's your bread buttered? That's
yeah.
where it's going to come from too.
That sort of reminds me of, what was it? I think it was Teddy Roosevelt who said, "Be the one who carries the bigger stick," sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, it's you know um let me put it this way: the villain is only as strong as the belief that he is a strong villain. When he's no longer believed to be a strong villain, or he can be defeated in some way, whether it be
Mhm.
through impossible chances or whatnot, then the villain is no longer strong. He is weak, because the
Mm.
belief of what he was believed of, that he being a almost invincible villain, is no longer there because there's a chink in the armor. It's
100%.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
a weird thought process, but I mean, it does make sense when you're like, okay, so yeah, because once something is believed to be weak, or you know how it works. Like, you've seen those. I'm pretty sure you've probably seen like those Walking Dead or something like that. We have the
Mm.
people living out as they do, or whatever. Once they sense something weak, you know that the psychology changed. Like, one moment of weakness, maybe you could get away with a moment of weakness, but you try and go on that route any longer, and people will begin to expect, and stuff will begin to stir, and your strength will look like a strength. You will start looking weak.
100% because it's perception, right?
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
perception. Yeah,
absolutely. That's a good point.
yeah. Which is kind of scary how you think about it. American first, one man's trash is another man's treasure. That is true, and that's also another thing too. Is like this. So you have to imagine like stuff like the tortoise and the hare. right? I'm sure you've heard throughout your life the story of the story. Who made that story?
I don't know who did.
I don't know either. That's the thing too, is right that at some point things just become a subjective story, and if they last and if they're well enough, they can last long enough, because who knows who created the story of the tortoise and the hare, or
Good point. But
stories.
it carries that value, though, doesn't it? It carries on that value, regardless of who wrote it,
Yeah,
because
because
it was there was truth there.
yeah, well, because it's a it's sort of like I don't know if you saw the movie, but it's sort of like Inception, right? The movie
Oh
Inception.
yeah, I've watched that movie a number of times. Love
So
that
it's like
movie.
when they were talking, you just have to kind of make the idea simple enough in order it can be accepted, and that way it just and on and on and on and on. I think that's why some stories last longer than others, but they have to last long. I would think if it's a really good story that can last long, I would think it has to last over 100 years. So
Hmm.
say like Shakespeare, right? Does
Yeah,
his stuff last because it's taught in classes globally, or or is it because there are truths to the story that people find and take from? What
for
would be the
sure.
more plausible idea out of that?
I think that people find inherent value in the story that was told, and
Mm,
that's why it lasts as long as it does, because it goes beyond even that point in history when it was written.
mm,
There's still these truths buried inside of it that are ubiquitous. They
mm,
carry on throughout time, and there's a lot of that, right? I mean, when if you were to look at
yeah.
like Aristotle, even and Socrates and all that, a lot of the things that they talked about, if you break it down to its simplest form,
Mm.
it still carries value. That's why there's still it that people still study it. People still talk about it because it had deeper inner truths, which are ubiquitous.
Yeah. And like American First says, if all currency was gone, the only thing of value is what you can offer others that are in need of your assistance. Basically, barter and trade situation. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember watching the Schoolhouse of Rock on that, is where you trade a this for
Yeah.
that and a that for this. And I can't remember how the rest of the song goes, but I mean, basically, that's what it comes down to. Now, of course, we grew beyond that point because, again, the value of an object became subjective enough that people began to disagree on, is this object worth the value you're giving it to me? So there had to be something that had to be created so that everyone could agree on. But then again, that goes onto a larger global scale on whether people agree or not that the fiat itself has its value still, because if fiat was if the fiat was the same value all around, it wouldn't go up or it wouldn't go down. It would just contain it. But
How about something that I know one of I follow Nerdrotic. He's
mm,
a content creator. I don't know if you know who he is. Love
yeah,
him to
F and
death.
T. Yep, F and T. Yep.
But he talks about comic books,
Hmm.
even like trading cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have this value that is very subjective. But
Hmm.
you do have people out there that are willing to pay a whole lot for that one rare item, right?
Yeah.
Where you and me, if I don't collect comic books, why would
Yeah.
I pay $5,000 for uh, the 10th, comic book or whatever? Um, but there are other people that would pay more than that just
Hmm.
to have that item.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how what value can be extremely subjective.
Yeah. Well, stamp collecting, coin collection, old waffle irons. The list the list you can give beyond comics is so far wide. You probably could do around the Earth and around the moon and then around the solar system twice,
Mhm.
because it's just so long of things of that list, like
Yeah.
parts or whatever, car parts. The the
Oh
the
yeah.
amount the amount of that is just insane. But, um, but yeah, I'm not surprised by it, because there are people who are willing to pay much for games, old retro
Oh
games and all this
yeah.
stuff. There's a game I used to have, but I don't have anymore. I should have kept it, but it was only for the GameCube. It used to be like
Oh,
20.
I
I think it was
love
like,
the GameCube.
yeah. The game was Skies of Arcadia, and the I think it was like
remember.
20 or $30 when it first came out or something like that. Now it's almost like 100 or so because the game itself is so rare on the GameCube.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there's always been talks of like them doing like a remake or renovation of it, but who knows? Um, items, knowledge, physical labor. Yeah, I hear you. But it's just that thing of as you for me as long when you go on that thought process, you begin to question whether people understand that what they have is more or not based on its belief to have that value, like
For
home.
sure.
Right. Like if I were to ask you, right, I don't know if you live in a home or apartment, but if I were to ask you, do you actually own your home? What would your answer be?
Yeah, I own my house. Yeah.
Do you have to pay taxes to government?
Oh, absolutely.
Then you don't own your home.
Of course not. Right. I've always thought that was unconstitutional, but the Supreme Court disagrees for whatever reason.
Mm,
What did they say that the American land is owned by the American people, and so that's where they justified being able to tax it. I
mm,
think that's antithetical to the founders who believed that property was one of the biggest things you could own.
mm.
And now they've basically taken that away. So it's a very valid point.
Hey, RH, know how you doing? Yes, the YouTube side still works. So hello, Mitch. RH, now how are we doing? Drive by hugs. I hope you're doing well. But it also comes to the next part is too. So you say you have someone, a man or a woman, who doesn't have any children, and really doesn't have much family to pass it on to. Is
Mm.
the house theirs once they pass?
No, I don't. I don't think it is. I think that I may not be right on this, but I'm pretty sure that the state can come in and take that land.
Then who? Oh, then who owns the house? Who
Well,
actually owns the house?
the state
Well,
does 100%.
Well, not even the state, because eventually the people in the state disappear and go away. Again, death is the great equalizer. So who really owns anything? I mean, we can go back hundreds of
Oh, I
thousands.
see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're going back hundreds of thousands of years, who do you think was on the land beneath your feet in your home area before before the house even got to the point where you own it specifically? Like who
Yeah.
owned that?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the land. I don't
Well,
even know if
and
anyone.
Well, no, and I'm not gonna go into this like, Native American sort of thing. No, not even Native Americans own the land. I mean, they they're like everyone else. They came upon the land or they conquered the land and they got it.
Yep.
No one owns land because you can't own a land you'll never live long enough to eternally own it.
That's a good point. It's
It,
a very good point.
and it's not being said to disown from buying a house, whatever. It's to get you to understand the idea that while there are people, bad people who say you will own nothing and be happy, the only part they get right is that
Ooh.
you will own nothing. The be happy part is subjective because again, this line of thought process that I go through just on that simple basis alone. So if I'm going to say, do I own this house? Well, I say, well, I'm alive, I can own it. But if I don't have
Sure.
anyone to take it over, then it doesn't go to any. Maybe my family could take it over, but then they have to pay bills for it, and then they own it. So I don't own it anymore. Who owns it after me? Well, probably them, or probably the state, or probably someone else. So the home is never a home is never uh okay. Well, you have a good night. You have a good night.
Peace out, Snow. It's
Yeah,
good to
peace
meet
out.
you.
Yeah, she's a lovely. She's also an author too, so I've had her on
Oh,
before as
awesome.
well. Yeah, but it's just it's again, it's not trying to make an argument out of the thing. It's trying to bring across the point of the big question that I think people miss by, and I get it, but the big question becomes, what do you truly own?
Well, I would. It's this. We'll get real subjective here, or we can.
Yeah, because
Your
it's how you'll
soul.
see it. Yeah,
Your
it's how you'll see
soul.
it.
You'll always
Yeah.
own your soul. I would imagine whether that's a good thing or a bad thing depends on the kind of person you are. But
I
yeah,
don't even know about that one.
I would hope that. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Some people sell them.
you
Some
know what? You own your thoughts. Well, yes, but when your thoughts can bring up false memories, and you
That's
can
true.
and the updating, what was it, the doorway effect or the updating location effect, are how much of your thoughts are your own? It's
Oh
very
yeah.
fascinating. It's very fascinating because once you get into this almost stir crazy paranoia thing where you're like, what of anything of that I do is true? And then I could see where people believe that it's all just a simulation because what if anything at all, right? But I don't. But again,
Oh, I
going
don't
along,
either.
yeah.
I don't either.
But
Because
going,
there's action involved as well, right? Action will drive things, and you can't always. Obviously, you can't predict action because people will take act. If you could predict that,
mhm,
if that was a predictable event, like
mhm,
in a simulation, that means it's all kind of laid out, right? Like there's something that's shaping this.
mhm,
Um, I don't necessarily. I don't. As a person who believes in God,
yeah,
I don't even believe that because I believe in free will. But
mhm,
and if it was a simulation, it was all like laid out there for you.
mhm,
Um, then is there a possibility that you could know everything, what's to come? Because then
mhm,
you could, if you could hack the program, right? There are
mhm,
people that claim to. There are people that claim to tell the future and blah blah blah. Lots of bad things happen, man. And if you could really predict the future, couldn't you
mhm.
prevent those things from occurring?
Maybe, but that's like that's like trying to run an experiment on something you don't know but wish to.
Yes. Well, yeah, exactly.
I can see the future. I can see. When's my next appointment coming? You said
Yeah,
6, right? It's almost like that.
right. That is right. That is right.
What is the time now? It says 6:05. It's 7:05. Dang it! Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you have no idea. When this whole thing was coming, when I knew that I was doing this with you tonight,
Uh,
I can't tell you how often I was going, okay, what time again? What time? I
yeah.
knew, but I was like, I didn't want to be late. I didn't want to
Uh,
miss it.
I
And yeah, so I was constantly going, okay, what time is it?
Yeah,
It was this time that we were going to do it, right? Not an hour earlier. Like
yeah,
just like what you were saying. Oh, no, it's 7:05. It's not 6:05. Oh, got it. I missed this, or you know what I mean? I've
yeah.
done that before.
Well, and the thing too is like I've had to start like not only using the calendar in my phone, but I had to get like a race board for my calendar to write stuff down.
I have one of those up on the wall. Yes, sir.
I can't remember where I got it. I think it's like a Dollar Tree or something. I can't remember where I got it from. You just they're all over the place,
Yep.
but I mean, I've run into situations where I've accidentally double booked people or miss because I do a majority of my communication through uh Twitter X. Oh, hey Gina. Hey Gina. I can't bring you up in the chat, unfortunately. Hey Gina. Um, but yeah, it's the you know what? Hey, how are
Keeping
you
things
doing?
straight sometimes is difficult.
No, yeah, no. Back to scheduling. Well, there's sometimes where because the majority of my stuff is done through Twitter X, where I do my DMing, and then you have the outliers of Discord and email. But a big chunk, if you were to see my DM list, oh man, it'd be too long. It would be
Well, how
too
many of
long.
these have you done? 200, you said?
Over 200, yes. Over
That's
200
like
guests.
yeah, you gotta have a huge. It's like what they used to call a Rolodex back in the day. It's
Yeah.
your Rolodex is like his ex and that kind of shit. Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah, and there's some people I can't even retry anymore because I'm blocked by them. So it's like I don't even know what I did and you blocked me. And I'm like, I guess I said or did something you didn't like, and that happened.
oh, dude.
Well, and some people don't even return the reply. Sometimes, well, part of it is because Twitter X's notifications for DMs are not that great, and I've heard
No,
that
no.
before. Yeah, so there's that too. But there's also just like even if you do like stuff people don't have enough time. There's a whole assortment of things where you're just like, I guess they don't want to respond anymore. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But I can't you if you're doing something uh similar to mine or if you have someone to guest whatever, it really is you have to do cold calls or not cold calls, but you get the
Yeah,
idea.
I know
Um,
exactly what you mean. You just got to try it.
yeah, you're throwing out a net out there, and you're like, okay, I know some people here, I don't know some people here, but I'd like to have them on. Sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. You just take it as it is, but I'm still here with over 200, having over 200 guests on, with some of them not even talking to me anymore. So
That's bizarre. Some of
I
them won't
can't.
even talk to you anymore. Come on.
I well, and
Why?
the few that blocked me, I'm like, I don't understand why. Like, I'm not into drama. I don't care about the drama tubing, whatever. But it's like if I said or did something wrong, I'd like to be able to at least the possibility of trying to correct the mistake, or whatever. Because you always want to be a better person. I mean, not like bending
Sure.
over all the time, like showing your butt, but sort of
Right.
like just wanting to improve yourself to like, okay, I said this thing again. But it's like if you're even given the opportunity or chance to, what what the hell is communication to begin with?
100%. And look, you did, like, we've kind of touched on it all night. This subjectivity, right? You never know how this person maybe got offended by something you said. You have no idea because it had nothing to do with them. It wasn't
Mhm,
even meant to be, and they
mhm,
don't even give you the opportunity to address it.
mhm,
There again, they subjectively thought, "Oh, this was about me.
mhm.
Screw you." Yeah, I'm with you. Do not like internet drama at
It's
all.
it my thing, and this is part of the content sphere, like all content creators. This doesn't matter if you're a VTuber or gamer or whatever. All
Yeah,
within the content creator sphere, to some degree, get involved to some form of drama. Well, I let me correct that. A big chunk of people in the content creator sphere get involved in some form of drama. Now, the reason why I corrected myself is because when you say all or nobody or no one, you are creating final words. You're creating
yeah,
no,
good point.
not final words, but they are uh usually some are final words, some are just like the end all be all words. No. No, and I've had to get out of that because the problem of it is you don't know, right? How many people do you know? How many people in the United States do you know eat a dilly bar ice cream? If you know DQ, Dairy Queen.
Oh, I love DQ, but I eat blizzards.
Yeah. But how many people do you know eat actually blizzards? You don't. So
No,
you can't say all people eat blizzards. You could say big chunk probably eats them, many people eat them, but you
mhm,
can't use the word all because all states a absolute, which it
sure,
is all,
sure.
everything. And a lot of people do that. We all exaggerate. Don't get me wrong. We all exaggerate. Some of us say, "Hey, I've slept like 12 hours, and you only slept like 2," and all that stuff. We all exaggerate to some degree. Some of it's done to make us look bigger, whatever. But when you're in the content creator sphere, people tend to, not all, but some tend to do, "Hey, Joe Donuts, what up? Can't bring you up on screen, unfortunately. Tron banned me, or at least him mod did. I didn't even know who was. I don't know who Tron is.
I don't either.
Nah, neither do I.
Well, what's up, Groiper? How's it going?
Hey, hey, Joe Donuts. Um, but yeah, the thing of the matter is that watching the content creators, there's a chunk of people that get into this, whether on in intent or by accident, because those are two opposing forces, intent or
Sure.
accident. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I give a rat's behind, because what does it matter to me? Like, if I do something wrong, I'd like to be able to apologize for it, right? Like, if we
Me
do
too.
something wrong, we'd like to be the ability to at least apologize for it. But my issue is right, I don't give a rat's behind about the drama stuff, because I want to the best that I can. Not saying I won't, because stuff will happen and you trip over yourself, you say something or whatever. And I'm not going to bend over backwards, but you do want to at least make amends to the degree that's reasonable, right? I said reasonable, not bend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But how many people, and this is my big problem with
Mhm.
internet drama. Look, there's some that's going to happen. There's nothing you
Yeah.
can do about it.
Yeah, exactly.
There are people who thrive on it, Daramouthe. There
Yeah.
are people who like literally look for it because it's eyeballs.
Mhm.
Oh, hey, you're gonna get those drive-by people who are gonna like, oh, they get into the drama and it's I don't know, fun for them or something. I don't get any fun out of that. I have more fun doing something like this where I'm
Mhm.
talking to people that we're having an interesting discussion and hanging out. There's no look, there's been no pointing out people and going, and this person says this and that person said. There was none of that. It's
Mhm.
all like hanging out and having a discussion, and that's more fun for me.
Mhm.
I don't like the drama stuff, and I hate to see when people get involved in it, but
Yeah. Even
it's
by
more
accident, you hate that scene involved because some people get into a corner and they don't feel like there's a way out, so you have to kind of
that's
choose.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. How many people get driven into a corner? What are you going to do? You almost feel like you got to respond,
Mm.
right? So yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, but I'm with you. I just can't stand that. I would rather just have some fun, interesting discussions and hang out.
Well,
And
I
and if people don't like you, okay, leave.
yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I think part of it has to do with monetization on itself because if
Oh, good point.
if people
Yep.
remember when YouTube started, and this is like 2005 YouTube, right? There was no such thing as monetization at all.
Nope.
You basically were uploading because you enjoyed uploading. It created an opportunity for people to see you and all this stuff. You get like a view counter or whatever, sure, but there was no money involved. Once money got involved in the content creator sphere, and I'm not saying it's all bad because there's some people who make great content, but at the end of the day, though, the problem of it is that monetization on a whole has, in almost some way,
Mhm.
ruined what can be considered creativity because, and this is from my perspective, because who remembers when Twitter X became monetized? Like you could become monetized in Twitter X, right?
I don't remember how long ago that was,
It
but
was a few years. It was probably a few years ago.
Mhm.
Because when did Elon buy Twitter X?
20 was it 23, Chat?
It
Was
had
it
to be 2 to 3 years
2023?
ago, at least had to be 2 to 3 years ago. But regard past that point, when he finally decided to make monetization happen on Twitter X, what happened after that? Bait posts, engagement posts,
Oh,
scam
yeah.
posts, all those posts. What is content creation about if no money is involved? That's the real
Oh,
question I want to see. How many people would do the thing they're doing now if no money was involved whatsoever? Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the benefit of the monetization factor, but how many could say they'd still be doing the same thing if no money? When I first started the thing, I didn't think I'd get anything out of this.
you and me
Viewers,
both.
whatever, because again, I started out like many people, gaming, did gaming that was like meh, it wasn't really hitting me. I did enjoy playing a mod pack of Minecraft, but that's neither here nor there. But it wasn't until I got to the conversational part that it was like, sure, yeah, there's something here. I want to keep with it.
Sure.
Uh, would you say Netflix started the whole monetization, or maybe Redbox? Well, it depends. Who there had to be someone before Netflix, or I don't know. Is it would those even good? I'm talking about content creation in a whole.
Yeah.
Those are tricky ones because those are businesses that started off with. Actually, Netflix started off with, I think it was the DVDs, and
Yep.
then streaming, and then it just
Yep.
became streaming. Redbox is just all DVDs, I believe.
Yep.
But I also think they're going out of business, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty much done because of people like Netflix and Amazon
Yeah,
Prime and all that. Yeah.
yeah. So DVDs kind of they're still their thing, but they kind of go out of business once streaming's involved. But yeah, it's just for the excuse me, for the content creator sphere alone. It just feels like, and again, this is a personal opinion, so take with what you will, but it feels like monetization on the whole of it for content creation has sort of ruined it, big chunk of it at least, because then the question becomes, why do you create content? Oh, I'm coming to the views and all stuff. I mean, it's great to get the bonuses. Don't get me wrong. That's what I consider it. But you do have those people who make a business out of it. What do you do when you make a business out of it? You got to keep up profit. You got to keep out putting out those videos and stuff.
100%. Yep.
It's it becomes so wide and varied. It's just, yeah, it's just one of those things where I have to sit back myself. It's like, because I have to remind myself, why am I doing this? Why am I? Yo, great, I got some money out of it. I appreciate it. Thank you. But why do I do this thing? Why am I here continuing to try to get people on? Because I believe that conversation itself is sort of like a lost art because technology, looking at your phone and stuff. But not only that, it's like it's not happening as much. I get it. There are topics to talk about, sure, but I'm like ground zero to anywhere in the universe, basically. Because I know a lot of people like to do topics. It's fine. Content creation should be about what you want to create. Don't listen to me. I'm not here to tell you what to create. I'm here to give you my perspective. That's it.
Sure.
It's just for me when I like you're talking about neurotic or FNT or Geeks Gamer. Majority of their stuff
Yeah.
is entertainment industry, gaming, entertainment, all this stuff and stuff they enjoy, comics and whatnot.
Yep.
But when I watched him, it really I haven't really watched FNT anymore because it's just pure chaos. I'm like, where's the conversation at? People like that. People like that. I won't say that. But where's the conversation at? Where's the you if you've seen other than the Gavin McKind one, that was just a crap show when that
Oh, McGinnis, when he took his junk out and peed all over the place. I was like, dude,
Woo!
really? Come on, dude. But okay. Yeah. No. To what you're saying, like I started doing this because I've been a news junkie my entire life. And when 2020 hit, I got laid off. There was no thought of money. As a matter of fact, I didn't start live streaming until I got my second strike on YouTube for talking about,
Jeez.
the medicine that we're not supposed to talk about. And I got my second strike and I went, I'd been both YouTube and Rumble, and I was making videos and then uploading them to both, right?
Mhm.
Then I decided to go live stream, and I did like what you said. I started off just doing games, was playing Destiny 2 and stuff like this.
I'm not that good.
I'm not that good either, but you know what? What I did, so what was wild? The news is what I find most important because I feel like what I'm doing. And listen, monetization. I make some money doing this, and
Yeah.
actually, I did want to say, I don't know if I say this enough.
Sure.
I'm grateful that Rumble started the whole creator program.
Yeah.
It's been a tremendous opportunity. It's got me more views, and that's what you ultimately want is people to watch what you're doing and to the chat is, I've always said this, if it weren't for you, I'd just be talking to a camera.
Yeah.
But doing the news, the whole thought was I want people to I want to be able to show people the news that I watch that's not mainstream. And then you guys can choose for yourself what you believe and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With the gaming, when I was doing Destiny 2, and I barely do it anymore, it was playing PvP, Daramouthe, and screaming like an idiot. People loved that when I get my butt handed to me and somebody would come up and debag me and I'd be like, well, you're losing. What are you doing? And I was screaming. People would come, they'd come to watch that.
Jeez.
And then it almost became like a meme. So I was like, what, do I always have to do this every single time? And that's the only way people are going to watch. So
yeah, no, and that's and I think my position is always be to remain humble about it because I used to do pizza delivery, and if you've been a waitress or a waiter or whatever, you kind of understand how the tipping system works, right? Like sometimes you could do well and you'll get tipped well. Sometimes you could do well and get gypped. Basically,
Yep.
I used to deliver to a well-known college. And when summer camp came around and they had bunches of boxes delivered, sometimes they wouldn't give a tip at all.
Yep.
So the point of the matter is, though, is that content creation is sort of like working for tips.
Yes.
It's a roller coaster. And if you have not been in that, if you are not ready for that, if you're going to strive to make a business, and some people make a business out of this, again, I speak from my perception on content creation. Do content creation how you want to do. Don't listen to me. All right. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. I'm here just to give you my perspective, because at the end of the day, it can all go away. It's just that easy.
In a blink.
In a blink.
Some of the biggest content creators. There was this guy, and I don't know because I don't watch him, but I hear the stories about him. And if you follow like Geeks and Gamers and that, and they've been talking about him for a long time. As Heels versus Babyface talks about him. Dark Side Phil, DSP.
Oh, the man who just never quits. It's not the only.
And
You're not.
he's always begging for money and saying, if you want me to do this, you're going to have to pay. You're going to end talking about how I can't afford my bills this month. It's like, brother, there, but by the grace of God, do these people watch you and they give you your hard-earned money.
Mhm.
What are you doing? Create the content. If the money comes, the money comes. If it don't, I get it. He built his business on it. How can you truly depend on that? And if you suck at what you do, or you get to a point, maybe you get to a point where it stagnates, begging for money. Come on, then what? You just might as well stand on a corner with a hat. And, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I get where you're coming from. I expect nothing from anybody who watches. Look, most of the people that watch my content are like me. They work
Mhm.
hard for their money,
Yep.
and if they feel like they're getting something out of it, awesome. I'm always going to be grateful for anything I get. I do not expect a dime ever.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other side of that coin too is sort of like that ad stuff, right? Because I know for YouTube, the big chunk of it is all the ad stuff. But my thing is, okay, you have businesses who run the reason why businesses use ads is because it's for marketing in order to get people to buy more products, right? What
Sure.
happens when, say, they have a product, well-known company, whatever, and not enough people buy the product? Do you think they're still going to give the same amount of money next year or next month? Or are they going to start relaying that? And that other thing too is like, if the economy goes bad and
Mhm.
advertisers not able to keep up and giving the same amount of money, do you think that that will mean well for, I mean, what was it? Like YouTube had that, what, adpocalypse years,
Adpocalypse.
yeah, years
Yeah.
ago. At a certain point, there are many cogs to this content creator sphere, and many of them rely on them to
Mm.
work. Because again,
Mhm.
YouTube has set the standard, right? YouTube has set the standard.
Yes.
Twitch has
Yeah.
set its own standard, but again, they're both setting standards, and people rely on those systems. Now, of course, they'll go to other places and compare and all that stuff. They already do it to YouTube, Rumble for YouTube. But the point
Yeah.
of the matter is that it only takes one cog to go away, and a platform becomes nothing more than a mortuary on a like a website
Mhm.
from long ago.
Yep.
Um, and that's where I hear that I just put out the data collected for April this month, and so people can go and see what people talked about, whatever they have the physicality now. But I mean, you know, who knows who's to say for Rumble? I mean, we've got our complaints and stuff, but many of us want to see it improve and get better. But
Yes.
it's up to them to do so. But I want to. Joe Donuts Live says, I think monetization via an AI-driven system is the problem. If it's up to an algorithm, that's when people exploit it with clickbait content, etc.
Good
When people
point.
pay for what they like, you'll get great content. The problem of it is, though, is that yes and no, because it's sort of like it falls in line with the same thing as like not everything that costs a lot equals great quality, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. Like you go to say you go to a clothing store, well known, and some of their
Mhm.
coats cost like $100 because, oh, it's so great and they last long, whatever. But that doesn't always equate to mean that every company that does that creates great quality, and that means that it's great quality. So it varies. But yeah, people will pay for what they like, but a majority of the time people can't always pay.
Yeah.
And that's where that whole ad relying on the ad thing happens, like on YouTube or
What
whatever.
Daramouthe, you touched on it really already. For those of us who are making content because we love to make content, we're
Mhm,
going to do it whether the money's there or not. The only thing is that I don't know about you,
mhm.
but I'm not depending on any of this. As this is
Yeah,
anything that gets donated to me is bonus.
yeah,
I
yeah,
work a job,
yeah.
just like
Same for me.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to continue to make content. The biggest thing that I'm concerned about is are people coming to watch it and to appreciate those people regardless of whether or not they can throw me a dime here or
Mhm.
there. And
That
the last thing I'm going to do is ask for it. If you
yeah.
give it to me, awesome, but I'm not going to ask for it.
I would hate to see someone throw a dime at you. That'd just be sad. Take your dime.
Yeah,
Ah,
ding!
ah, my eye. Oh,
Hit
good
you right in
lord.
the forehead.
Ah,
Yep.
ah, where did they go? Where did they go?
Yeah. No, thank you. Keep your dime.
And we just take it like a little frisbee, just oh my! That's how you do it. But anyway, it is the top of the hour, and so what
Yes,
that
sir.
means is I set aside some time for. Usually, sometimes I have people on who don't create content, so they really don't have anything, which is fine too. I have had both on, but when they do, usually just set aside time to self promote. So I did put. I want to make sure. I think I did. I did put all the links of yours I could find, which was just Rumble and Twitter X. But if you want to sell yourself, as the kids would say, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And no, that is it. Just Rumble and X. And the reason that I you're on YouTube as well. I
Mm,
was on YouTube for a while. I divorced myself from them because of the censorship.
mm,
And this is where I want to praise Rumble.
mm,
They shy away from, and yes, there can be people you're going to run into on Rumble that you're going to despise what they have to say.
yeah.
I would rather live in a world where I can turn that off
Mm,
than have people decide what is and isn't good for the internet.
yeah.
So I love Rumble for that reason. That's why I
Mm,
stay there. And I only went to X because Elon bought it and said that he was going to cut back on the censorship. So those are the two places that I like to be. And like this, I go on with a ton of different people, and they're all wonderful, wonderful people.
mm,
And I don't do it for myself. I do it to hang out with them and have a
yeah.
good time with them.
Yeah.
And I do. I think we talked about this a little earlier. I think it was in the green room. Cross pollination.
Mm,
In the thing about Rumble is that that's a lot of how it's done, because there isn't. I know that there is a little bit of an algorithm, but not much.
yep.
Mostly, it's going to be us talking to each other, spreading it ourselves around, and
Mm,
and you grow organically. And
yeah.
egalitarianism, right? And that's kind of what I like. But yes, I'm Republic Sentinel. I am on Rumble. I am on X. Come hang out. I am a late night guy because I work a night shift.
Yep.
So after midnight tonight, probably going to do a news show for a good 5 hours. If you wake up in the middle of the night, can't sleep, or you get up early in the morning and you want to catch up on some news, come stop by the channel. And but then, my schedule, like I got to work Tuesday, Wednesday night, but then I'll be off Thursday and Friday. Then I got to work Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's a rotating kind of thing. So
Yeah. It
I'm
sucks.
on when I'm on.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that sucks too. Yeah, because I mean, for me, my job is a steady because I work first shift, and so it allows me to do like it. Again, I work my job. I it pays for my living and stuff, but it allows me to do this thing too, where majority of my equipment is inexpensive. Like this microphone was probably around 100 or less because it's the Blue Yeti. Um,
But it sounds good for $100 or less. This thing, the only reason I have this is
uh,
because I'm a musician, and
oh,
I had this microphone for recording music, and I
mm,
went, maybe I'll try using that for my voice. And yeah, it does. It works. It works nice. But
yeah.
dude, you sound good on that mic.
Yeah, well, I had trouble in the beginning because it's a you can change the direction of it. So there's one point it was on a different direction, didn't sound well. Well, I mean, and again, my webcam here is a Logitech Brio 500,
Me
and
too. That's
oh,
exactly what I'm using. Yep.
nice. Well, and I also bought one of their flat lights here that they have.
Mm-mm.
They're I don't they're ultra light or bright light or whatever they call that. Because it was just I bought it off Amazon, which was cheaper because buying off the site is a little more expensive. But I mean,
Me too.
the Brio 500 was on sale on Amazon, and I can't remember how much the ultra light.
125, 130, something like that for the camera, I think, right? Wasn't that about what it
It's
was?
it's about what it's about 129.99 is what they have it, but I got it for like less than $80 because it was
Ooh,
Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. Yep.
that's a
So
good deal, man. Damn.
yeah, well, I buy a majority of my computer parts through Amazon because they usually have
Me
good
too.
deals. Yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
I hate to do it, but there's no place other than Best Buy where I live, and I'm like, I can't buy this amount. It's just not gonna work. But anyway, but
Me
anyway, from
too.
my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side or the YouTube side, doesn't matter which side you're on. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment, or follow, anything that helps the engagement factor is much appreciated because not only does it help being seen more, like all content creators want to be. It also helps in having other people on, like RS, like Joe Donut, like Yankee Free, like Stuff Central, like so many others that have been in the chat. Because again, I've had on over 200 guests. It doesn't matter. All that matters is any help with engagement on either Rumble or YouTube or both helps out a lot because. Like we were talking about, it does, you want people to come and see, but I also just want people to be part of a conversation that starts nowhere and ends somewhere. So
Yes. Hey, and it's been a blast, dude.
yeah.
I want to tell you very much. Thank you. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
you. I
you.
appreciate the opportunity. This has
Ah,
been fantastic. This is a cool conversation, man.
oh yeah,
Especially going down the whole truth rabbit hole. And dude, that was
it's still gonna
awesome.
it's still gonna go. This ain't ending the stream. I'm not ending the stream yet.
Oh, I thought you were ending the stream. I'm sorry.
No,
I was like, oh, I gotta.
I should have explained that earlier, that the reason why I do this is because I know some content creators, they do like at the beginning of the show or they do at the end of the show, like they self promote whatever, or I've seen a few. I actually have seen a few who do like sporadically throughout. The reason why I do it at the top of the hour is because it's sort of like a timing thing, right? Because I do work in the morning. So, when the top of the hour comes, I could say, "Oh, here we go. We could take a break and all that stuff, and we could either continue or leave,
Yep,
because that's the hour." But it just helps keep track of things on that time wise is why I do it, and
for sure.
and all that stuff because I do have to set up tomorrow's stream as well. So there is that. Because it's always Rumble Studio makes it easy, but boy, does it still have its issues. But
It does,
anyway, yeah.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's the sad part of it. But anyway, there's also a link down below. It's to my other links. It's like a link tree. It has my links to my Twitter X. Has links to my email. Has links to my it's just Discord, but it's mostly just DMing. I don't have a server. I only have so much mental bandwidth to run something. So there's that. But any help with the engagement factor, link down below. And of course, if you want to, on my Twitter X, I just put out the um, total of the data of what I collected over the. Hold on, it's not there yet. I just put it out.
Oh, okay. I
Be
was just going
putting.
to look.
Yeah, I have to get there first. I'm like, okay, so where do I? Okay, no, go there, go there. Come on, put it. There we go. Put it in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna hold on just 1 second. And this is the link to it. Paste. It's the link to my X, but that is the link to where the data is that I collected over in April from the surveys that were put out not too long ago. So you'll get to see all the things that people talked about because again, Rumble doesn't really give us anything on visual wise on data, and that's why I'm doing it. Of course, look forward to Maze as well, which will probably be more like um, maybe the middle, yeah, more the middle of the of May is when I'll put that out because it does take me some time to get things in order. So you can click X that X link down below.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
do
looking
that
at it
later.
now.
Yeah, and it'll take you
I
to
participated in this, so
yeah. You'll get to see what everyone else has said too. And the majority there'll be at the very end of it will be links to the summaries and the raw data. So both ends will be there. Both ends for the creator and creator and viewer one, both the summary one and the raw data one. So if people really into that raw data sort of thing, they'll have access to that Excel sheet for both ends. And the reason why I did is because again, it's a form of transparency that Rumble really doesn't give, and maybe there's something they want to give it or not. It's a business, but at the end of the day, people need to see something, and that's why I do it. But anyway, and of course the last thing I do is so a while back, I got I went to apply for a partner program. So there's a company called Proton, right? They have Proton VPN, Proton Mail, all that stuff, and they were offering in one of their posts on Twitter X the ability to go and apply for their partner program. Now, obviously, I don't remember seeing them do this before, but I went and go try it anyway, and I already applied for the creator program in here, but it was mostly just to try and see if I could get in. The money thing is extra. So I
Mhm.
went to go and apply for it. And, of course, obviously, majority of the time, these affiliate programs or partner programs, they want you to be some big number sort of person because sell their
Yep.
product because that's what they're selling. Well, the thing is, I've used Proton Mail and all this stuff for a long time, and I was like, okay, I know a bit about the product, but I'm really not a good marketer or seller. You know, don't sue me, but I mean, it is what it is.
Mm.
So I went and I filled out the information, and some of the questions I would just put in, I don't know, because I didn't. And I filled it out, and they said, we'll get back to you within 48 hours. And it was over the weekend, so it was like, okay, so may or may not happen. So so after work, the day after work, I look at my email. It says you're in. I'm like, you got to be joking me. And then and then after that, I'm like, oh man, how am I gonna do this? So so I had a bit of help on things, but basically. What it is there's a many links they give me to kind of promote, but I'm just going to do one because it's one I use mostly on a daily basis. So this one is for the mail one, Proton Mail, and you'll see it soon. You can go to that link, it will take you to the Proton Mail. So what Proton Mail is, it's basically an email client offered by Proton that it allows you the ability to use alias links or alias emails. So if you were to go to, hey Gators, how are you? If you were to go say apply for some demo or product or whatever, you can use an alias email, and that alias email will redirect that back to your actual email. So you don't have to use your actual email for just about anything. You can keep your actual email safe, but this is Proton, so it's safe anyway. Another faction of it is spammers and scammers. So they are situated in Switzerland, which is known for its very strict privacy laws. So they're
Mm.
about privacy and security. Look, it's not 100%, no matter what they tell you. The internet is not 100%, no matter what it said, but they do their darnest. And you can take that link; it'll show you all the. There's more technical terms, okay? I don't I don't know how to. I know a lot of people don't care about that. They care about protecting your stuff and all that. So, the spammers and scammers, even if there's some that are missed, guess what? They'll tell you, oh, it's a phishing one. Oh, it's this one. Or it doesn't match our domain. Like I ordered pizza from Domino's. I ordered pizza for Domino's, and I got the email of like the tracker and stuff, and it will tell me it does not match up to the security of or something about the not documentation but the domestication or something like that for the internet stuff, and
Mhm.
it will tell you that. I've had a few times where it's like this may be a phishing email or something like that, so it does
Ooh.
do that. And another one it does is it erases links trackers that come with emails. And so I had someone on my Rumble Squared who kind of explained it better. But basically, some companies will, like if it's a demo or whatever, they will send these trackers with these emails. And so what that
Mhm.
means is that if you were to open or not open, they'll continue to send you or not send you another email depending on. Well, what Proton does is it kind of cleans out those trackers. And so, and of course, again, if you go to the link, you'll see more info about like all the technical stuff. But at the end of the day, I promote it because I use it. And it's sort of like Billy Mays, right? If you remember Billy Mays, he did the OxyClean, and his statement was, I wouldn't promote a product I wouldn't use.
Sure.
Same thing for me here. I promote it because they're about the privacy, they're about security. They have a free version if you want to use a free version. Again, they offer a 30-day one. They offer 30 days. That's it. Yes, I do get some money out of it, but I may not because it just depends on the people. So I only tried this because I didn't know if I'd be able to be a part of it or not. I'm a part of it, so I'm trying it. I'm not a great seller, not a great marketer, but guess what?
You're
At
doing just
least
fine. Can I ask you this? How do you get credit? How do I make sure you get credit? Because I'm on
I
the link now.
I don't know. I guess you have to sign up or like again there's like if you can go to the link for like the 30-day. I think there's one that says like 30-day free guarantee or something like that. Like you do 30 days free, and then it depends on if you stay on long or not. I don't know. I don't really know how it works. Again, that shows you how well I know how to do this stuff. Um, but like
Yeah.
Gators says, he strongly recommends it as well because he must use it. Yeah, and again, if you don't use it, that's fine. Look, they offer a free version. You don't have to pay nothing at all. No credit card, no nothing. It's just
Yeah.
about privacy and security. How many of you have an AOL, an iCloud, Gmail? Gmail is a really good
Gmail.
example. And
Yep.
they make you have to sign up for a Gmail for Google or YouTube, right?
Yep. You have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to. How many of you have those? I get spam in my AOL almost all the time. They sell your email out there
Yeah.
online in the dark web and all that stuff. Proton does its best to protect. And again, there's more items the further you go up the line on the like you'll see there like there's Proton for 2 or Proton Business or whatever. The further you go up, the more stuff you get, right? I will say
Mhm.
this as a bonus from what I have with it. Every year, if you get like the ultimate or something like that, you get 10 free gigabytes every year. As far as I've seen them do it, they've given me 10 free gigabytes as long as I've signed up with them. Proton, you get 10 free gigabytes. So again, check it out. If it's worth it to you, great. If it's not, don't worry about it. You can use a free version. You're good. I just promote it because people value, especially if you're older, right? You have parents or grandparents or whatever, and you really want them to use something that is easy to use and all this stuff. And they have a whole bunch of other tools too, but the Proton Mail is the one I choose to promote. So check it out. If it's worth it to you, great. If not, guess what? You didn't have to pay any money for it. That's the power of what it is. So that's the end of my thing. And again, there's the link down below. Um, but yeah,
Hey,
it was just
I'm liking the information you put up, man.
yeah,
I've been going through it the entire time we're talking.
it's pretty
This is
interesting.
awesome.
You can always check their other stuff too out, but I don't have the links. I mean, I do, but I don't. I'm just trying to keep it simple and ready to
Yeah.
go. Um, but no, it's good because there's a. So if you were to go on YouTube, I know you probably dislike YouTube, but if you go on YouTube, there's a group called I think it's either payback scammers or scammers. Hold on, I can look them up. Because I want to make sure I get the channel name right. What was the nope, not that. Oh, what were their name? Oh, hold on. Payback. Scammer. Was it scammers? Nope, that's an M. That's Scammer Payback. That's right. The channel's name is Scammer Payback. And what they do all day, every day, is they go through the phone scammers, they go through the texting scammers, all this stuff. There are people who get gypped by scammers. Billions of dollars get taken out of the US by mostly by the older folk, but even people who don't really know, they think that it's emergency, something's wrong, like they get the Microsoft one and Amazon or whatever. There are a lot of people who get robbed by people in India.
Yep.
India. The majority of it is India, and I think big chunk of it is in China, but a majority of it they show is in India. People in India are gypping Americans of their money because of scams. It is a multi-billion-dollar business over there. And they are taking, and some of these people aren't even that smart. They're just using programs that people who are scared, who are filled with angst or anxiety because oh no, so the Norton antivirus came to me and said I owe them money and all this stuff, and then they do
Yeah.
all this. There's a whole lot of
Yeah.
things. Gotta be mindful. Gotta be careful. You'll get phone like the robocalls, right? How many times have you gotten robocalls in years? Like, and this, and you forgot your Comcast or your loan, or I've
Your
gotten
loan, big
yeah,
time. I get them a lot. It's like, hey, your loan's been approved. It's like, what?
what loan?
What loan?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's always
exactly.
always
Exactly.
double check. Always double check.
Always.
If you get an email or anything like that, always double check. Why? Because the scammer email will always have, most of the time, they're getting better, but most of the time they'll have misspellings, they'll have words out of line or whatever. But at the end of the day, always double check. Always double. If it's from your bank, call your bank directly. Do not call the
Mm.
number that's giving an email. You call your bank directly. Look up the number online from the actual bank or go to the bank itself. If you're not too far from the bank, go to the bank itself, find out information, share it with them. If they say it's a scam, guess what? You just prevented yourself from losing thousands upon thousands of dollars. And I
Hell
really
yes.
appreciate what that group does is because they are showing you how bad it is And sometimes fear is a good motivator for people to lose money, and it sucks. It
Oh
really
yeah, it
sucks.
is. Yeah.
Really sucks. But yeah, it was just I watched some of those things too, and they sometimes make fun of it or whatever, and that's great. But
Yeah,
there
that
are
is funny. It is
it is fun.
funny.
It is funny, especially some of them are really good at the hacking part of it, and they really do shut down some of these things, but they'll pop up again. It's like the Hydra. You cut off one head, two will pop up in its place.
Yep.
And it sucks when that happens, but
The only reason is because it's so lucrative. That's
yeah.
why it'll continue to pop up. It's because people will continue to do it. It's a very good point. It's a
Well, not
very
only
good point.
that, but with the advent of AI now it could just get more difficult
Oh
because you
yeah.
aren't sure. You can have voice. People, again, it's a tool, right? People are creating the technology because there are some things that could help with and all this stuff, but there are also bad people out there that will use it for their own benefit. Look, any tool ever created by any human being throughout history does not have a duality. We give it duality.
Hmm.
A garden hoe has much as an ability to kill somebody as a gun.
Oh,
I'll
for
repeat that.
sure.
Yeah, I'll repeat that again. A garden hoe, not an actual hoe. That's a different story. A garden, a garden hoe has the actual ability to kill somebody just as much as a gun does. And why is that? Because neither have sentience to actually fulfill that portion. It is the person holding it. So it's like the thing when they talk
Mm.
about gun control. I understand there's a fear. It's understandable, right? But that's where you go out to try to learn how to better defend yourself, what to do in those emergencies. If people understand, like if you were to learn about first aid or CPR, right? The more you learn about
Yeah.
first aid CPR, the better you are at handling those situations when it comes up. Even your body will react muscle memory wise because you've learned the information to at least until the EMT gets there, right? If you're not EMT, that's a different story. But if you're just doing it to get the that keep the person alive until EMT gets there, you will have at least some knowledge so you're not so a nervous wreck or pass out or whatever. It's the same thing with this where again, the tools themselves are not able to do it, and all this stuff, and the gun stuff, basically.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just a fascination. I mean, it's a great conversation to have, but when you start saying you need gun control, okay, but then what about the chemicals in underneath your sink? What about their control, right? Well, you can kill. I'm not saying you should, but there are chemicals you could mix that could actually cause harm, and they're in your own home.
Big time.
They're in your own home. You don't need much. But the point of the matter, and I'm not advocating for anyone to do that. I'm saying
Right.
trying to point out a piece of information where educational information where almost everything you have John Wick killed a man with a pencil.
With
Okay,
a
that's how.
pencil. I was with the pencil. I love that movie, man.
He,
So
and
good.
he and in the second one they show him killing a man with a pencil. I mean, how
Oh
what
yeah.
more do you need? What more do you need?
Absolutely. Such a good movie, man. That was
But
that was
it
fun.
it goes to show that a writing utensil used to draw, used to make the prettiest wording out there, can be used as taking a man's eye out. I mean, what more examples do you want? Guns and objects of destruction aren't the problem. It's the people behind it because a tool cannot act on its own accord. It is the individual that makes their own accord known, or makes their will known. Saying accord just makes it sound weird. It makes their accord known. It's like, what does that mean? It's like you'll figure it out. Take a few take a few years. You'll get there. Um, but it's always fascinating to me when that sort of comes up because yeah, you can't. I get it, but you can't really have gun control when it's not the gun's problem.
Right.
A gun. It's almost like trying to create a fairy tale out of nothing, or it's trying to create a fairy tale of something that there is a real problem, but it's not the object; it's the being behind it.
Yeah. It's
And
the
the
person.
fairy tale is the redirection into the object, not the person.
Yes. Yeah, and instead of blaming the object, we need to start looking. In my humble opinion, we got to start looking at maybe mental health conditions and
Yeah,
things like
there's
that.
all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff.
Dude, the charts were amazing. I've gone through them all. I looked at them. It's
Yeah,
very good. I
yeah.
like that you did that.
And again, you can go at the very bottom and go to the links down provided below, and those links will stay open as long as they can keep them open, because I'm using Microsoft Forms to do this, so they'll be dependent. But at the end of the day, people need to see visual data. Rumble isn't
Yeah,
providing it. Rumble is, you can get analytics, but even then, their analytics on Rumble is not that great. And right now, they just don't have the capacity of people or resources to do it.
yeah.
And it's it is what it is. And yeah, it is what it is.
I would like to see them get better with the. I mean, just because, let's be honest, dude. YouTube kind of spoils you. They give you could find out what color underwear the people that watch your show were wearing. You know what I mean? I'm being facetious, obviously,
Yeah,
but there's so much information you get from YouTube. Now they've been in the game a lot longer, and they got what,
Google.
$1 trillion company behind them,
Well,
right?
it's basically Google. YouTube is Google. It is
Oh,
what it
for
is.
sure.
It's the YouTube.
That's about to change. That's about to change.
It won't change right away though, if at all, because it will take years for it to happen, because you already see. I think there was something I read where Google's already trying to fight back on certain aspects of. But the point of the matter is people shouldn't rely on courts to the final decision of breaking up YouTube from Google, because they'll hold on to that. It's like YouTube is
True.
Google's data mine. I'm sorry to tell anyone, but Google is YouTube's data mine. Basic and
Absolutely is.
simple. You don't If you
Mhm.
don't think YouTube isn't being used to change their AI, I want you to go into the creator studio of YouTube and tell me, do you see an inspiration tab? I want you to click on that inspiration tab, and I want you to tell me what it offers. And then when
Mm.
you tell me what it offers, I want you to tell me how long it's going to be before YouTube is able to start creating their own content creator.
Ooh, that's interesting.
It
Using
won't be right now.
AI?
It won't be right now, but it'll be years from now. That
Mhm.
what if Let's just put out this hypothetical. What if, because of all the data collect from all the content creators that put their stuff in that platform, what happens when they put out a test subject? Let's just say, oh, it's our try at oh, look at this thing that content creator. Ooh, it's funny. Ooh, it's silly. Because if you were to go back there right now into the creator
Mhm.
studio, you're going to see an inspiration tab that wasn't there before, and it is there now. And it's supposed to inspire you on content to creators, something like that. I can't remember what it specifically said, but
I didn't know it existed. I haven't, like I said, I haven't created content on YouTube in a while, so I didn't know that it existed. That's new?
oh, it's not. It's like not brand new right now, but it's been out for quite a bit, so it's still new. But the point of the matter is, though, is you can't you can't ignore that Google uses YouTube for its data mining, for its AI. I get the complaint on the artistry stuff and all that stuff and blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, though, the companies that, and especially Google, do not care, because you signed up to be on their platform. You
Yep.
put you said yes to the was it EULA, EULA, their
Yeah.
EULA, and said you agree to the rules, even though the rules are very draconian and flip floppy. But the point of the matter is, though, you said yes to using them, and guess what? Your stuff is being used to train their AI. And guess what's going to happen maybe 5 or 10 years down the road? They're going to put out something that's a little like, oh, it's just a little content creator, buddy.
Mhm.
He offers help and solutions to help make your content better. It's no longer an inspiration tab. It's now a paperclip. You remember back in the day with the paperclip that would like advise you on certain things? Like I can't remember what it was.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Did
Just
I just
refresh.
Okay.
Your camera froze. I can see. Oh, there he goes. He'll be back. There he goes. Yep, you gotta refresh. All you gotta do is refresh. You'll be fine. Um, there you go. And you gotta turn your stuff on. You're good. I can hear you now.
There we go.
Yep.
It happens.
Yeah, it
Trust
does.
me, it's happened in the middle of my own streams. I know exactly.
It
Jeez
usually
Louise.
it usually happens to me after the 2 hour mark, but yeah, they really and the funny thing is that it didn't used to happen before when Rumble Studio came out, and then all of
Yep.
a sudden, like sometime I think towards the end of last year, it's just like boop.
Get that blue screen and you just got to refresh. Yeah,
Yep.
it's frustrating. I know that they've been working on it. Just to be honest, they hear us when we say that it's happening. They're working on it.
Well,
Look, I like to give them leeway. They're
yeah.
they're trying really hard. I will give them all the credit. They're trying.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. It'll get worked out.
Yeah.
Still a great platform, and I still love to use it. So
Yeah, and again, as my data collection has shown, is that a big chunk of it is great for the free speech stuff and
yeah,
all that, but the technical bits are catching up, and they need to start focusing on which ones to work on and all that stuff. Because at the end of the day, those are going to be the deters.
yep,
It's not enough that the people run away when they see just politics on the front page. The
yeah,
technology to use the stream, being able to watch a stream and all that stuff, slowly it will keep deterring people away because they're just not, again, they're going to be compared to YouTube. They're going to be compared to Twitch.
yep.
They're going to be behind for quite some time on trying to play catch up because that's what they're doing. They're playing catch up, but they're getting a plan into place because they need to hire. They need to do they need to do the hire the best person for the job scenario or the art of the deal scenario. If
Sure.
people have never read the book, The Art of the Deal, it does kind of help a bit in understanding Trump a little bit, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
Um, the point of the matter, though, is that it's kind of hindering when you want to promote the platform, but then they say, "But your platform is all about politics." It's like it's not all about politics. Well, I went to your front page and that's all I saw.
yeah. There's a lot. Listen, I broke my chops on this on Rumble in particular when I finally gave up on YouTube.
Mhm.
And it was out of frustration, and I came over here, and it was gaming for a long time. And I've got a lot of friends that do this, that they just game on Rumble. There's a lot of gaming on Rumble. It's
Mhm.
unfortunate that a lot of that gets overshadowed.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the politics guys, why did they come here? And it's not just exclusively right people, because you've got some people from the left too that got bit by censorship.
Yeah.
But they came here because they could freely speak, and that's why they're there. And they brought crowds with them. Let's
Yeah.
just be honest, they did. And there were some bigger gamers that came here that brought crowds with them too. And
Yeah.
I like the idea of the platform. Just, hey, let's get as much here as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And you are correct, though. I wanted to voice on this. They do need to focus, because you will scare people away if you keep having these kinds of technical issues.
Mhm.
People are going to be like, I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah. Because they already have enough with YouTube. They already have enough Twitch. These companies
Yeah.
already have enough time. It's unfair, sure, but they're ahead of the game because it is what it is. This is a
Mm.
competition, kids. You've got to learn how to either find new ways of getting to be able to reach those points, or you've got to start building those bricks quicker because at the end of the day, your competition is laughing at you while you're 10 steps behind.
Yep.
Got to come up. There's got to be a game plan or something. I know part of it is resources, so there's that too. That's sometimes it's out of hand, but
Mm-hmm.
more. And this is the thing I didn't like too is that for a time, politics was the monolith on
Sure.
Rumble. It still is, but now they're trying to build up gaming as another monolith, and I don't really agree with that because your competition is already miles ahead with being variety.
Twitch and YouTube, right? Yep. You're right. I don't know exactly what the answer is. I know
Neither
that
do I.
I'm going to stick here.
Yeah,
I'm going to stick here because I feel very welcome here.
yeah,
But yes, oh my gosh, how many times I've had to deal with just like what just happened, where you're getting these technical glitches that they gotta get hammered out, man.
Yeah,
So
especially for Rumble Studio, if they want people. I know they're bringing out that RT, was it RTMP,
RTMP, yeah.
which is
Mhm.
great, but at the end of the day, what about the other issues on your studio? Some of them are
Yeah.
still not being taken care of, and it needs to be. It's almost like you have to hire someone who's so well versed in coding that I can give them an up an upbeat. Because listen, I was on with I did my Rumble Squared Saturday, and I had many guests on, and we kind of did go over a bit of how much it costs to run a video hosting thing. It cost YouTube. So I had a gentleman on named Encryptus. He does with Neuro. He does stuff for Viva Frey, and he had mentioned that YouTube spends $2 billion a month just to keep up its services. $2 billion a
What?
month. Yeah. That's the number he gave. It's like $2 billion a month. They go through
That's
$2 billion a month for their own video hosting site. And of course, yes, they have their own servers, Google and whatnot. But at the end of the day, $2 billion. How much money do you think is because Rumble has its own service and all that stuff? But how much
yep.
money do you think is going through the total of it in upkeeping better content? That is my feeling. Well, and I understand that too, but at the end of the day, it's the only They're the only platform out there with their own uh, broadcasting software. Everything else is third party, which is understandable. OBS
Yeah,
and all that
that's a
stuff.
good point. That's it. And Neuro too. He just recently joined my Discord.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot that's going on here, and the other thing is that YouTube YouTube has this that you talk about monolith. YouTube has this like infinite resource now to be able to use. It's hard to keep up with that. So I try to tolerate. I try
Yeah.
to tolerate the stuff with Rumble just
Mm,
because I give it time.
mm.
I just want to give them time because the one thing that they have afforded me is I can talk about whatever the heck I want to.
Yeah. Nothing. And for me, there's nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, they are in competition, and they
They are.
are playing catch up. And at the end of the day, you have to choose is whether you're going to slow down, stay behind, and keep building up your product to be better instead of quickly going through things, or you're going to compete. And right now, they're struggling. It feels like they're struggling between both. We want to compete, but we don't have the resources to compete with, and all of this stuff.
That's just it. They don't have $2 billion a month. God bless it. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, the Rumble's market cap on the stocks and stuff is like 3.51 billion.
Wow.
Yep. Yep, yep.
Unbelievable.
I had to look. I had Robinhood, so I had to look that up. But yeah, and again,
Thank you, Neuro.
YouTube has Google backing, and that's an unfair situation in its own right.
It really is. And Google, which is what the parent company of Google is Alphabet, right?
Yeah,
You see some of the stuff under their umbrella? They got like biolabs and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I'm not surprised.
Alphabet is this is why I think honestly there does have to a lot of these companies have
Mhm.
got to be held accountable. I personally think that Facebook is what they've got. I feel almost like they've monopolized a bit. What do they have? They have Instagram, they have Facebook, they have
Instagram,
WhatsApp.
I think it's the metaverse.
Yeah. Yep.
Metaverse, Instagram. I
Hmm.
know Instagram's one, but I can't remember the other. I know there's like one. Oh man, we
I
got
think
the
it's
internet.
WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp.
um, no, that's I think that might be metaverse. Oh, no, verse. There we go. Metaverse. What companies does Facebook? Oh, there we go. What companies does Facebook own? Oh, here we go. Top 3 companies owned by Facebook. Well, I'll get out of that. Ah, here we go. Um, Meta
What's
Platforms, formerly known as Facebook, owns several prominent social media platforms and communication services. These include Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads. Oh, that's right, Threads. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I forgot
Meta
about Threads too.
shows
Yeah.
you how much we remember. Meta
Mm.
has made numerous acquisitions over the years, with some of the most significant being Instagram and WhatsApp. Instagram, a photo video sharing social networking platform, was acquired by Meta for $1 billion in 2012. That's a lot of moolah.
Hmm.
That's around the same amount that Google acquired YouTube from its original creators. It's like
Oh, is that how much they paid?
I think it was like 1.95 billion or 1.65. I can't remember. I'll be able
Wow.
to show
And
it
when was that? Do you remember when that was? I guess
towards
I could
towards
look
the
that up
end
while you're going through this.
towards the end of 2006 in November.
Oh, it's been that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
I didn't
I actually I
realize
can.
that.
You know what? Let me find my tab. I have it right here. So a while back, for a while back, I was trying to look up, I was trying to look up what YouTube looked like at, like, say, the amount of years that Rumble's been around, right? Like, what, it's at its 11 years, which would be like 2016. What did YouTube look like and all that stuff? So I found this website.
Mm.
Let me bring it up. And this is called Web Design Museum. And obviously, uh, I'll
Oh,
put
cool,
I'll put the
dude.
link in the chat so people can go look for themselves.
Yep.
But basically, over here in this section right here, it says in February 2005, three former PayPal employees, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, Jawed Karim, launched a YouTube website for publishing and sharing video files. The first video, called "Me at the Zoo," which is very still there, was uploaded to YouTube on 23rd of April 2005 by one of the co-founders, Jawed Karim. Now it's over on the right here, so you could look at the link and see for
Yep.
yourself. It was a short video from the San Diego Zoo. In November 2006, YouTube was purchased by Google for $1.65 billion. And that was a year. That was just a year that YouTube alone was owned by those three former PayPal employees. Can you imagine that? Three former PayPal employees made what became the second largest search engine in the world.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. It's magnificent. Good for them.
Yeah. Yep.
Good for them and they sold that thing for 1.65 bill.
Yeah. I bet you anything they could have gotten more if they knew the worth, but even Google built it up from then. I don't know how long they stayed on though. I can't remember if I even found that information, but I'm sure they stayed on for quite a bit. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just interesting to kind of go and look at that, because again, I was trying to figure out, okay, so where was YouTube at their 11th year or their 12th year, whatever, because I was trying to make
Yeah.
that comparison.
Mhm.
Look, if you were to go through that stuff, right? If you were to go through the first year alone, they have some things that YouTube doesn't, or Rumble doesn't have right now, right? If you were to go through that first year, there's image pages up at the top that you'll
Yeah,
see
I
for
saw that.
2005. You'll go
I'm
through in
gonna
the very
check this out.
and the last page that you see will have sort of like a bio line or something. Like, it'll go to like December, and you'll look at the very, like, the last page at the top one, where it says, like, hey, we want to hear your feedback. Hey, we want to do all this stuff. They were open. Again, this is three former PayPal employees, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people they had working underneath them during that time. I don't know how well they were, wise, like brain wise or whatever. But at the end of the day, uh, they made something that became multi-billion dollars, and
Absolutely.
takes multi-billion dollars to run too, like mucho money. But again, if you were to go through that last picture at the very end that shows like a diary thing, and you were to go
Yep.
down, you would see stuff that Rumble just doesn't have. They had the block feature within the first year.
Mm. Yeah, I'm looking at this. This is wild. I'm gonna have to go through this. That's wicked.
It's a
But again, some of it is proprietary, right? Or proprietary, whatever. So it's protected by copyright. So like
I know there's
Rumble
like
can't
code.
use it?
I know there's some things like that, but I don't know which is which, right? I think it's
I don't either.
on the design of things is how it goes. But beyond that point, it's like it's like if it, again, I don't know how many people were working underneath them, so they could have had 50 or whatever. But at the end of the day, when they were first starting out, three guys from
Yeah.
YouTube back in the day when the technology was not as great as it is now, they made YouTube or the basic of right. You look at the front page, it doesn't look that great, but they made it within their first year. Three former employees from PayPal. I don't
Yeah.
know how smart they are. I don't know what their accreditations were, but they made YouTube. Again, it's it's comparing the past to the future of what is. But again, if we're talking about Rumble having to catch up,
They got a
sorry,
long way to go. What was Rumble 2011? Was that
they're
when Rumble started?
2013.
13. Okay.
2013,
So
and I think they did a
12 years.
montage of when they started, like the front page and stuff, which is great. They've come a long way. That's great, but they still have a long way to go against their competition. So it's sort of unfair to say they're competing when they're not even on the same level. And
Yeah.
it's part of the ordeal. It's a competition out there. Kick is a Twitch clone. It's it's funny.
It
It's
absolutely is. That is correct. That is correct. But you know what though? I mean, people are using it. Have you ever used it?
I have an account over there, but I haven't used it yet just because I'm not sure.
And
And
me
I've
too. It's like I never got to using it. I went and I followed it because I heard about it from Geeks and Gamers. I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
another
they
just
use it
another
too.
place, right? I haven't used it. I haven't used it at all, Daramouthe.
Yeah, I mean, I have an account over there. I thought about it, but it must be like a test stream because at the end of the day, it's just adding another place, and
Yeah.
that's mental bandwidth and all that stuff. Because I don't want to do too much. She's giving me
Well,
flashbacks.
okay,
Yeah,
but YouTube. The one thing about that Rumble really is behind the eight ball on is that there's a bunch of companies that refuse to advertise on Rumble because Rumble refuses to monitor speech.
yeah.
So there's always that like that's holding them back too.
I will say though that the gentleman I had on in Cryptus was
Mhm.
explaining that he has a company where he has creators and companies willing to start signing up with Rumble to advertise and stuff. It's just he can't get to the table to have a conversation with them. And it's just like even if it's just to hear them out, that'd be better than not hearing out at all. And again, I'm only hearing it from one side, so I don't know the other side, but I may never will. The point of the matter
Yeah.
though is that there are a lot of people who want to help make Rumble better. Again, especially with the competition that's out there. Kick, Twitch, YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, all these other ones out there, redpill.net, all these other ones out here. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, there are many people who want to help make this platform great. I'm not about platform loyalty, whatever. Do what you will. It's your
Mhm.
content. But at the end of the day, I've already seen enough stories of what happens when you're just on YouTube and they can just snap you.
And you're disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
You're done.
You're done.
Yeah. That's why I considered over and over again, and maybe I should. I don't know. I have friends that watch my content that like neighbors and stuff, and they
Right.
all tell me, dude, you got to be on YouTube. And I'm like, but
Well, you don't
if
have
I
to.
do and I say the
Yeah.
one wrong thing, and
Yeah.
they just nuke YouTube on me, and what did it really do for me?
Yeah, no, you do what works best for you because at the end of the day, it's about your stuff, your content. But for me, it's like it's still the king of platforms. It's still
It
whatever.
is.
So I stream over there. I stream both my stuff over there because again, Rumble's not free from something happened to your account either. And I'll give you a great example.
It's
There
true.
was there was there was an account, actually a husband wife account, Mr. Sarge or Sarge something. I can't remember his name, but he for some odd reason they lost their account. Now obviously it came out that it was like a bot situation, like their system got confused that their accounts were bots, which didn't make sense to me. But whatever, I don't
Hmm.
understand the technology behind it. But at the end of the day, they got their accounts back, so everything was put back or whatever. But then months later on, That same thing happened to me. Now, obviously, I don't know if the bots thing was a situation, but I was going to have somebody on. Everything was fine the day before. I set it through Rumble Studio for the guests I was going to have on. Everything was great. After I get home from work, I go to my account. I find out it's a 404. It's gone. The account is gone. I had to email support. I had to make a public post. They got it back for sure, but I never was given an explanation of why my account was deleted. And the problem of it is when you have someone's account get deleted and you give no answer to them, that does not look favorably on you as well.
No,
Why
it doesn't.
why should I trust just Rumble because they're free speech and all that stuff? No. Somehow, some way, my account got deleted on their platform, and I got no answer of why. So why should I trust them?
It's a good point. I had no idea. I've never heard that. But well, that's scary. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to think about that.
Well, again, it's just creating a safety net, being on multiple platforms that you can handle, right? This isn't about being as many as you can. It's about as many as you want. It's because about as many as you can in the sense of your mental bandwidth and all stuff. Do
Sure.
what works for you. But at the end of the day, though, your account to some form or fashion can go just like that on Rumble as well, and you don't even know the answer why. Now, it's not going to be the same reasons as like YouTube does or whatever, but if they don't give you an answer of why it disappeared, yeah, it you know what? It may have been just a 1% moment, but it still happened.
It still happened.
It still
Absolutely.
happened.
Well, no, it makes me think about it now. Makes me go, ooh, how would I even handle that? So what did you do? How do you, I mean, how in the heck do you even get a hold of help when
I
in that?
emailed support, and I also made a public post on Twitter X.
Oh,
Obviously, they got back to me and said we're fixing it, we're getting taken care of, but there was no answer of okay, so why did my account go?
yeah.
What was the answer? Right? The end of the day, no one platform, no matter how good they say they are, no matter how free speech they say they are, do not trust them on your stuff, because if you enjoy your making your content, if you enjoy the stuff that you do, back it up. Either back it up on another
Good
platform,
advice.
because I mean you can't do it on Twitch and you Kick, because they will delete it after a certain point. But YouTube, whatever it is, back it up, because at the end of the day, no platform should be the sole trust of your content. I don't care what they say. I don't care
Mm,
how much they butter you up. There are people behind a screen that that are in control of holding your stuff. It
mm.
only takes one wrong move, one bot error or whatever, and your account is
Yeah, it's good advice. That's
never
really
get
good advice.
never give
Gives
one.
me something to think about.
Yeah, never give. Always live by the rule. Never give one platform that much power over your stuff, because at the end of the day, it only takes one wrong move and bye bye. Everything you did is gone.
Man. No, dude, that's like I think I know Sarge who you're talking about. I think I've
It was
streamed with him.
Sarge, because it was his wife too that had their account disappear. It was Sarge something and Miss Sarge, or again I can't remember their names exactly because it was such a while ago. But the same sort of the same issue. But that's a great idea, because and it you know it's Dear Sarge. That's right. Nero said Dear
Dear
Sarge.
Sarge. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've streamed with him.
yeah.
Absolutely. I know Dear Sarge. He's awesome. I didn't know he lost his freaking account.
Ask when next time you
Oh,
see him.
yeah, I will.
Ask him about him and his wife's account. Ask him what happens. Like, I heard a long while ago you had your account deleted, and he did. Again, they got their accounts back, obviously. But the point of
Well,
the
and you
matter
did
was,
too, obviously.
yeah, I
So,
did. But the point of the matter is that this thing happened straight up. This
and
thing
you got no reason for it. That would piss me off a little bit. You're going to tell me they don't know why? You're going to tell me that they have no idea why? Or
now,
do they just not want to admit that, oops, we made a mistake and we're sorry and it was
Dear Sarge.
human error?
Yeah, Dear Sarge got. They said it was a glitch and they fixed it. Yeah, they said it was like a bot issue or something like that. Like their bot confused it for something. So they did.
Hmm.
They did fix it, but the problem is it still happened. It still happened. Yeah, they had it backed up, sure, but if they got an answer, why couldn't I get an answer? I didn't get an answer. I just got, we fixed it. It's good to go. That should not be happening. If it happens, then it should
Yankee says he downloaded every episode. Dude, do you have any?
it's
And it's a good
gigabytes.
idea, but my goodness, dude, how much space? It's almost
Yeah,
like I'd have to buy an external hard drive
yeah.
to download all that stuff, man. Oof,
Glad to.
tough one.
Yeah, again. If you don't care about your content, then you don't need to worry about it. But if you do care about your content, then the point should stand. Back up your stuff because external. Oh, he has external drives. Okay, he
Mm.
has external drive. But again, my point is, do not just trust. Do not trust just one platform with your stuff because at the end, TBs are cheap. Yeah, the hard drive ones are, but the SSD ones are not. Like
Yeah,
they're still
SSDs are expensive.
they're
That's
still
for
expensive.
sure.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still very expensive.
Dude, I got 3 terabytes on my computer, and they're getting filled up. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, so you're a mod in his. I wish I could pull it up, but it's not showing in Rumble Studio chat. I didn't know you were a mod in his. You're a mod on almost everyone's channel, Neuro. I don't know how you do it because I had Encryptus on yesterday, so he was telling us. But yeah, um, yeah, it's. I can't. After that point, it's like I'm not gonna play out the part of the creator program stuff. Sure, that's fine, whatever. I agree to that. But after that, no, you don't get to keep. You don't, not stuff that's non-exclusive to you is not going to be exclusive. I wouldn't do exclusive to stuff to Rumble. I mean, if like YouTube does their shenanigans, sure, that might be the case, but I'll still find another platform to go to because I don't I don't I don't trust even after that, I don't trust Rumble fully outright. I don't need
Yeah,
to. I don't shouldn't because there's still another business at the end of the day. No matter what they say, they still need money to keep their platform running. And yeah, yeah, it's nothing against the people. It's just, hey, something happened. Got no explanation. Can't really trust you that much. So there you go. Um,
completely understand that.
but anyway, it is the top of the hour again, and I think
Yeah,
we're gonna start winding down because I do need to get off and start setting up for tomorrow's stream.
sounds good.
But again, we're gonna go. So we're gonna run a few things. Obviously, we're gonna do for our self promotion stuff. So if you are ready to sell yourself, as the kids say, the floor is yours. The floor is
Sure, sure.
yours.
Just Neuro, thank you for dropping those links up there.
Yeah.
And like Daramouthe said, he's got the links in the description.
Yep.
But I am Republic Sentinel, and I am extremely grateful for this opportunity. I am on X, I am on Rumble, and I am on YouTube as well. Same name, Republic Sentinel. I just haven't used it in a while. I'm gonna think about it. You gave me things to think about.
Yeah.
But
Don't force yourself if you don't want to. There's more platforms, dude. There are so many platforms out there. The people who only stick to one platform, and something happens to their stuff, I don't feel sorry for them. Why? Because there's so many platforms out there right now. You know what? You could just hop from one platform to the other, upload all of this stuff. It really is ridiculous. It really is
true.
ridiculous.
True. And yes, Neuro. Yes, YouTube is asshole, but it is another place. And I do always uh I use X all the time.
Mm.
I simulcast to X.
I,
Um
when we get to that point, I'll tell you my story of Twitter X too. So go ahead.
yeah, I'm gonna be doing news tonight. I like to do on occasion I'll do a gaming stream. I've kind of fallen off of that. Some music stuff. Sometimes I play DJ when I when it's Saturday night. I may have had a bit to drink. And then also, yes, Yankee Free. Yeah, he and we do a show called Beyond the Noise on Soarnet. That's just another branch that we're trying to go down together. We do a news show on a Saturdays and Thursdays,
Mhm.
where we do kind of like what you're talking about. We're trying to invite guests to talk about very specific subjects, people who are knowledgeable about certain things, and bring them in. Oh, and then I make guest appearances on all kinds of shows. Yapping Mondays on KD's channel, Midweek Banter on DA1's channel,
Mm.
Bourbon and Beer this week. Every other Friday, I get to be on that with Yankee. Then I got this opportunity, and yeah, I love spreading myself around, getting to know a lot more people. And you have a fantastic chat, just like I do, and I love the
That
chat very,
just
very, very
just
much.
the wording alone, maybe just spreading yourself around. No, no. He's spreading himself around, all right, but we're not sure which part it is. Um,
No, but seriously though, this is my favorite thing to do
yeah,
outside of my family and everything. It's being on here streaming and just having a blast, meeting good people, having good conversations. And you are correct that it does kind of suck that politics and then gaming seems to be like a priority when a lot of this goes on, like just chatting, kind of podcasty kind of stuff that isn't news related. It's people sitting around sharing thoughts.
mhm,
I like all that kind of stuff. So
mhm.
yes, thank you, Neurodivergent. And like I said, Daramouthe put all the links in the description.
Yeah.
Uh, Come hang out and have a good time. I'm a late night guy. That's why a lot of times you'll see me call myself the night watchman, because I like to come on after midnight, and because I work nights.
Yeah, well,
So
and you again, you work within your time schedule, so I think again, I see these things as sort of a two-way street, because again, scheduling is always the
ooh,
most challenging
so
of things of
yeah,
getting people, even people who aren't creators. It's always a challenge, but
sure.
at the end of the day, it's worth it because there doesn't seem to be enough just no free flowing conversations. It doesn't, I mean, I've met people who do that, sure, but I'm talking like you start from nowhere and you go anywhere, right? You're a nowhere man in a nowhere land, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
right. I would have started singing it, but there's that copyright thing in YouTube. But anyway, uh
No. What did before you go any further, you just popped this into my head. Am I hearing something about copyright with Rumble?
no, I
Did
said
you hear
YouTube.
something about that?
No,
Yeah,
YouTube.
I thought that maybe Barnes brought it up this Sunday.
Not sure.
I wasn't listening close enough. I think that there might be somebody trying to come after Rumble for copyright stuff. Not
Hey,
sure.
Neuro, you work with Viva. Do you know anything about that? I'll wait to see.
Neuro, are you the one that's in the background talking to Viva on the
No,
show?
that's Encryptus. That's
Oh, that's
Encryptus.
Encryptus, right?
Encryptus
Okay,
or
all right.
Agent Guru on Twitter X, but Encryptus is his manager guy. He's a really smart dude, to be honest. But Neuro, if you have the time or ability, is that true? The copyright thing on Rumble, or do you know anything about it? Whenever you can answer that, please. No, that's not
No,
me.
that's not me.
No,
Okay,
he's talking about the speaking part. He's talking about the speaking
right.
part. But if you know
Okay.
anything about what he's talking about, the copyright thing that Barnes or Viva probably talked about,
On
please let me
Sunday,
know.
yeah, I never miss their show, but a lot of times I'm doing something else while I'm listening to it. So I thought I heard that, and I didn't get back to it. So
Well,
I hope that's not true.
if he knows the answer, he'll answer. If he doesn't, then we'll have to look it up. You'll have to look it up for another time. But
Mhm.
anyway, yes, again, his links are down below. If he, you can check him out. If he's worth the follow, guess what? Why not? Right? Why not? At the end of the day, I don't tell. I know a lot of content creators say go follow this person. I'm like, this is a content creator sphere. I will say, hey, go check out them out, see if they're worth the follow. Because at the end of the day, it's about supposedly they want Rumble to start enforcing copyright. As far as I know, they haven't agreed to anything.
There you go.
So,
That's a little scary.
well, they weren't gonna be able to be the way they are now for very long because
I know.
how many channels have been showing movies and TV shows and all that stuff?
Yup.
Some have been doing cartoon shows. There's a lot of it's a real thing. Music. I mean, at the end
Yep.
of the day, sooner or later, those big companies, the bigger you get, they're gonna start coming after you because that's their money.
Yep.
And yeah, so we'll see. But thank you for that, Neuro. I appreciate that. But
Thanks,
anyway,
Neuro.
um, for myself, whether on the Rumble side, whether the YouTube side, if you don't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated because not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want to, um, it also helps in having other people on, like Republic Sentinel, like who else? Like Yankee Free, like who else was in here? Like I just like Joe Donut, like Stuff Central, like Gina, and all sorts of other people. So go back down there. Yeah, it's bound to happen. Even a couple channels I like, you just use content or use content. Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. But thank you for that, Neural. But anyway, any help with the engagement factor on either platform is much appreciated. Of course, I also have a link down below. It's like a link tree. I have my Twitter X in there. You have my email in there. You have like a Discord thing in there. Um, it's mostly just for DMing. I don't do servers because I only have so much mental bandwidth, so I can only do so much. But it's all right there. You can go down there and all that stuff. Again, any help with the engagement factor, link down below. I much appreciate it. Of course, I did. So there we go. So in the pinned part on Rumble, that link directs to my survey results from both the viewer and creator. Of course, less people took it this time, but there were a lot more questions. So I understand. And again, this is a living survey, so it will change and be a little lesser so that more people can answer. But anyway, that link will take you to the survey results of all the data. Yes, you too can finally get to see visual data of what people are talking about, visual graphs, all this stuff. And at the very bottom of that post, you will see links to not only the visual summaries, but also the raw data as well. That's an Excel sheet. So again, I use Microsoft Forms because it's free, at least for the part I'm doing it. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford to at least do the monthly. But at the end of the day, people need visual, and visual is what I'm giving. There's that.
It's very good too. Go check it out.
I'm trying real hard. And of course, also as well, a while back, I got accepted to there's a company called Proton. Didn't think I'd get in. I just applied because I just wanted to try. And luckily for me, they said yes. And I said, you got to be joking. So I was like, I didn't say it exactly to them. I said to myself, I was like, they gotta be joking. So anyway, so what it means is that they have some links I can use to kind of do promotion. And yes, I do get paid for it, but I'm not a good seller or marketer, so I doubt I'll make any money. But I promote it because I believe in the product. So down in the description or in the channels, you'll get this link. This link will direct you to the Proton Mail, which is one I've used a lot, and so that's the one I am promoting because again, do it like Billy Mays, right? You know, OxyClean. I wouldn't promote a product I didn't use.
I
So
like the comparison a lot. That's good.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what he used to say because that's what he would do. That was his mantra, and so that's what I like to do because I use the product. I use the other products too, but the mail is the easiest one to focus on, so that's what I focus on. The reason I do the Proton Mail helps with the scammers and spammers like spam mail and all that stuff. Will either help detect and not get to you, or it will say, "Hey, this is phishing. Oh, this does not show up on our." Uh, um, it doesn't reach up to the level of security we have. All that stuff. Like if you were to say the easiest example I can give is if you were to order a Domino's and give your Proton Mail email to them, it would come back with saying it wouldn't reach like a certain level of security with us or whatever, or check whatever. It's weird. But they will tell you about phishing or whatnot. The other thing is that they do have this ability where you can use an alias email. So they'll make you an email that will directly link back to your actual email. So you could use this alias email for signing up for Planet Fitness or stuff like that, or just demo stuff, whatever. So you don't have to give your actual email to these companies. They get a dummy sort of email, and you could just direct that back to your actual email, and they none the wiser, right? So there's that too. And another thing is the email trackers. Companies will send trackers with their emails, like products and all that stuff, and it's usually what lends to like them resending stuff to you or whatever, or whether you open it or not. So that they help clean those up too. And believe you and me, if I were to a comparison between my AOL account that I still have because I don't know what else is connected to it, so it's like great. So I have an AOL account, I have an iCloud account, I have my Proton Mail account. Guess which one gets the most spam? No, actually, you know what? AOL, iCloud, and Gmail. Guess which one gets the most spam?
Gmail.
and then AOL. And then even iCloud gets spammed too. And guess what Proton does? You barely get any, if at all. Any, if at all. So those are the three things I bring up. Again, take the link. You can go do a 30-day free thing. Guess what? If you don't even want to do that, they have a free account. Yes, they have a free account. Now, there's more stuff the higher up you go on the tier for paying stuff, but guess what? Free is free. And guess what? You could try it out and so on and so forth. The link just takes you there, is all it does. But again, I promote the product because, again, based in Switzerland. Switzerland is known for its very strict privacy laws. And they're trying to build a better product. People, there was, and it's funny thing too, whoever runs their social media account, they were talking on Perplexity. Like they had this thing about Perplexity, and they were bringing up that something about ads for Perplexity and all this stuff. And they were just bringing up an article or whatever on it, and they were just kind of reaming us like, yeah, you're really not what you say you are for, and all that stuff. So yeah, there's posts on it. Again, I think it's at Proton. Carmony.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up.
Let me find it. I think the account name is at Proton. Oh man, I gotta do it right. Proton at Proton Privacy is the main account. I'm going to try to see if I can't get the. I don't know if I can link to it or not. Yeah. Just look. At Proton Privacy on Twitter X. You'll see their main account. They have a whole bunch of stuff, but the thing I was talking about was going to be up there too. So there's that. But anyway, you've already had someone like Gators say they use it and so many others. Give it a look, give it a try. If you don't want to, you don't have to pay for it. Guess what? They have a free account. So there's that. Second part is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will have on previous guest, the Gourd King, and he's mostly a YouTuber as well, though he has a Rumble account. But again, people who come from YouTube are like, Rumble doesn't match to par and all that sort of stuff. So there's that. But I've had him up before. Great dude. King of the pumpkins, as one would say, because he has a pumpkin head. So he'll be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, the last thing I do with my guests is questions from a hat. I bought a hat from Rumble, and I put some questions inside. So what happens is, is that my guest, you get 2 freebie questions. Now, obviously, I'm not monetized on YouTube, so sorry, YouTube, just not going to happen. However, if you're on Rumble, guess what? If you want more than the 2 questions pulled out, you can give a Rumble rant. Easy peasy, right? Except I know you're still having issues, Neuro. I know you're still having issues. Still, I thank you for thinking of. But regardless, that's how it works. So if you want more, but thanks to Kismet earlier, who gave a Rumble rant, you now have 3 questions, because I do count that. So you now have 3 questions. So we won't be too long with this, but I'm gonna dig in for the first one. And they're easy. Some are easy, some have challenged people to think on a bit, but I digress. We'll see which one you get. And this is to the hand of fate. Let the the hand of fate decide. All right.
Woohoo!
Here's the first one. The first one is easy. Do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
Mountains.
Why is that?
Love the atmosphere, the beauty. Now, look, I'm not saying the beach doesn't have good atmosphere, but man, when you get up in the mountains, I've been to Colorado a lot.
Nice.
I absolutely love the feel of the mountains. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's because I've got a lot of Norwegian in my blood that it harkens back in genetically, but yeah, love the mountains. It's my preference.
And that's where you went to take the axe and said, "Woman, we must go find the orcs."
That's right. Yes.
Mead. I need more mead, wench.
Never too much mead. 100%.
That's a coffee cup filled with coffee. Give me more.
That's right.
Question number 2. Here we go. Post-it note stickiness. Hold on. What's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
I probably Video games.
Nice. I hear you.
Video games are my way to just like release from the world and have a really good time and just relax.
Yeah, I wish I could, but majority of the time, it's like, oh, I'm already done getting my stream set up because I set up my stream the day before because some content creators I've seen have set like the hour, maybe a few hours before or half an hour before. But for me, it's like if I set it up the day before, I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. All I have to worry about is, hey, it's at this time, sort of thing.
Yep.
So that's why I do it. Sometimes people can't because, maybe they don't have the thing, whatever. Colorado's beautiful. The night sky in the mountains, nothing like it. True. I believe it. I've never been there, but true.
Love it.
But yeah, definitely try to do it because it takes less stress off for tomorrow. So anyway, it's always weird when I go on someone else's show too, and they're like, it's like I'm waiting like an hour before. It's like, come on, and then it's like half an hour before. It's like, give me the link.
Yeah. Getting the link that late. Yes. No. Hey, you gave me the link yesterday. That was great.
I was like, I'll give it to him. It was later in the evening, but still, it's like you got it, and I have to worry about it. It's like, yeah, keep that link for yourself. Does it work? It's like, did you click it? Yeah, it works. There you go.
But Daramouthe, to your point earlier, man, oh man, their alerts suck. X, yeah. I saw it because I went on to X and I saw in the corner that I had a message. I didn't get an alert on my phone or nothing that I got a message from you. So yeah, X has got to get a little bit better with their alerts.
Yeah, they're not really great for streaming to either. As I've heard from some people. So
oh yeah, there's issues.
There is that. They want to be the whatever app, but they're more focused on their grok. So yeah.
True enough, they are.
Plus, Twitter X is not free speech in total because I had a previous account that got suspended for no apparent reason, and they gave no reason, and so that's why I have the current account because of that. So, yeah, that's why I don't trust X either because the speech is all great. Oh yeah, freedom of speech and all that stuff. But wait, didn't he just say freedom of speech but not of reach? Oh my, what about his CEO? His CEO said lawful but not awful. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You made a solid point earlier. It's don't put all your trust in one basket.
Yep.
It's good advice.
Yep. Some people listen, some people don't, but at the end of the day, it's your stuff. Do with it what you will. But when you start crying that platform got you banned or destroyed or whatever, wolf.
Well said.
All right. Here's question number 3. Of course, if anyone else wants another question pulled out, I gotta give a rumble rant. If not, this will be the last one. Okay, here's a good one. What's the weirdest food combination you enjoy?
Ooh, now y'all making me think. Weirdest food combination. Wow, I don't know. I don't know if I like. I don't know if I like anything that's too out there or weird.
Well, it's like maybe like fries and applesauce or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta really think about that.
We'll change that out for a different question because we'll want to see. So let's go with this one. Just as a change out. This one is. This one's gonna be interesting. This one was a thoughtful one. What does freedom of speech mean to you?
It's liberty at its very core, because you don't have anything else without free speech. Free speech is the reason that it's the First Amendment to the Constitution is because it's the most necessary to a free society. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, I think I agree with a lot of people, of course, not everybody, that say that the only reason that you get the first one is because of the second. Mm-hmm. But absolutely, a free press, free speech is necessary to freedom and holding people accountable. Mm-hmm. It is, without question, it is a God-granted liberty, and it is an absolute necessity in a free society.
Yeah, I can see where making say like something to remind people of that, but if it's God given, can can any human really take that away? Right?
No, they're
You
not
can
supposed to be able to.
you can stifle people, you can gag people, sure, but they're still free enough that you can't really. So again, we go back to the whole thing about what is truth and all that stuff. So uh,
Absolutely.
it's
It's
it,
good. That's a good thing to end on, isn't it? Wow.
and that, children, is how I discovered the center of the universe. But anyway, sorry.
I love it.
Carl Sagan had nothing on me. But yes, that is the end of the show. Again, guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you all in chat. I know I wish I could have pulled up the chats in Rumble Studio, but it looks like I had a hiccup. But YouTube certainly seemed to be fine. So there's that. And both streaming to both platforms seem to be fine. It's just the chat part that's not so good. So anyway, but I did take my pictures. So again, guys, if you have issues that happen to appear up on Rumble, take pictures, take videos, because it
Mm,
cuts through having to write an essay about this thing happened here and all this stuff. Look, you can still do that a bit, but you can cut it down by saying, "Hey, I have this picture that shows that hey, Rumble chat was not activated in Rumble Studio," and then they can go through the process of figuring out, "Oh, why was that the case?" and all that stuff. Um, so I say that to everyone. If you are a content creator, take pictures, take videos, write it down, make sure you have some visual evidence because again these people are trying to be puzzle solvers and they're working with little to no pieces at a point, so
mm.
so that helps cut across. So anyway, again, and of course, thank you Republic Sentinel for being here. It's
It's
awesome.
my pleasure. Thank you, man.
You
Jeez,
know,
I appreciate it.
me too. I appreciate it as well. And you're always welcome to come back. Of course, I always try to keep that door open for people, even if some of them close it on my face without me even knowing. So there is
Not here.
there
Not
is
here.
there is that. But anyway, I end the show. I end the show with "One Day with You" by Pogo, and don't forget to mute your mic because of our deal earlier. But
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
again, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with the Gourd King. Hope to see you all there. Again, the link that's pinned up is for the total of the surveys. All that data is there. Go check it out if you wish. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Bye.